Across the UK, online and on DAB.
We are Talk
Radio.
Iain Lee's just burst in the studio.
Yeah.
Iain Lee.
Rat fans!
Hey, Rat fan. What's going on your show, man?
What's going on your
Johnny's,
show?
He's knackered his throat in. Have you got advice for him?
Yes, I have, because I lose my voice a lot.
I've had a stinker. First week in the new job.
Oh, he's had a stinker as well. That's uncomfortable.
As well.
Because you're in the same studio with him.
Exactly.
I lose my voice a lot. Whenever I get cold, the voice goes, go for a steam.
Right.
You have to go for a steam. Go for a steam, and not do the thing where you put your head over a bucket or a thing. Do that, but actually go to your local sports centre, your health centre. Go and sit in the steam room for as long as you can, and do it for like as many days in a row. Repetitive. You have to keep doing it. It's the only thing that will shift it.
There's absolutely no doubt that it cleans you inside and out of steam. It really does.
Well, it's not all of your insides. It's not going to clean your anal passage. It's not suggesting you go for a colonic.
Nothing's going to do that.
No, a colonic would.
Nothing will shift that. Oh, yeah, there is that place by you. I showed you, didn't I? The colonic...
Would you ever get that done? Imagine that. Someone puts a tube up your bottom.
I know.
There was... I was asked years ago, and I still used to get offered TV work. We've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
To go on like this show, and it was a celebrity... colonic.
That happened, didn't it?
It happened.
Richard,
was it Richard Blackwood?
Yeah, he had it. I can believe
it.
While it was doing, he was having his. And we had a guy on the show once, and he said pasta's the worst thing, and apparently they come out in the shapes you ate them 6 months before.
It sticks in your gut.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading an article about it. One fella had a marble come out.
Really?
A marble.
Was it one of those silver ones?
It wasn't a steely. It wasn't a steely. It may have been in China.
Yeah,
he's the pinball wizard.
What you shouldn't do, Johnny, do not whisper. Because, honestly, I've done so much research. Whispering uses up more muscles and is worse for your voice. So you got tomorrow, in like a minute,
yes,
just don't say anything and don't do the whisper, because that will make it worse.
Yeah.
Hot ginger, fresh ginger, boiled up with lemon and honey. That'll help the throat a bit, but it won't bring the voice back. Garlic. Steam, mate. Steam is the only thing that's going to do it.
You're right. I like that advice.
Yeah, I'm happy to give that advice.
What are you doing what's going on your show, man? I heard last night that you had a lovely kid. He was amazing, that 10-year-old.
Oh, Wilson.
Incredible.
He's a little brat.
But a clever brat.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
That's what you want.
Because he's going to do all of us out of a job one day. Everybody sat here now will be out of a job because
it reminded
me
a bit of my brother, who at 10 was a sort of radio anorak and used to phone in stations and that, and like annoy the host. And then look at him. Yeah, now look at him. Exactly. That's what's going to happen to him.
He's flying high.
He's going to be big.
Wilson calls me. Wilson came in at the other place I used to work in. He phoned up one day, and he said, I reckon I could produce your show better than Kath. I went, all right then, sunshine, come in and do it. And he did. He came in and he came in with topics.
It was much better.
People were phoning up. I don't want to talk to you, Iain. I want to talk to Wilson. It was. Did you just diss Catherine on air? I think you did. And you laughed because it went under the radar.
No, yeah, exactly. I slipped it in there. You grabbed it and you made everyone see it.
Yeah. That's
and I also heard the show at 12:30. And it was really good, but I can't remember because I forgot.
I don't remember.
It was fantastic.
Well, bless you. Thank you.
It was brilliant.
Tonight we've got Matt Haig, who's written a brilliant book, Reasons to Stay Alive, and he writes other books as well.
Oh, that book, yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
so he's coming on. We're asking, have you ever had to use your karate skills in real life, and do you still use a VHS?
I have got one, just for the odd video that I've got that you can't get on re-release.
What videos are they, mate?
You know, like, what was the name?
Aston Villa, 1989.
That's it, yeah. That was the one, yeah.
Oh, because I was thinking you meant...
Nah. Yeah, you can get all those. They've all been digitised. Yeah, they're all there.
There's a website that streams them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've been told.
It's called YouTube.
Yeah.
There's something tube. Anyway, so that'll be the show. And the show's kind of evolving into a nice thing where people just phone up, and it's all a bit random, and we just go where the wind takes us.
Live off air call as you're answering as well. Everyone loves that.
Call straight to air after midnight.
Straight to air.
It's a little bit lazy.
No, but it's brilliant, isn't it?
It's fun, isn't it? And it's nice that they've said we can do what we want, really. So
which is what you want.
What I want is to do what I want, and I'm doing it. What I want,
exactly what he wants, and what we want. That's Iain Lee.
Thanks very much. Am I done? What time have you got to talk up to?
I think it was 57:30, wasn't it? No, 57:40. So we've got another 10 seconds. Let's do Alan Partridge, and Iain Lee will be with you after this.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Talk Radio.
One day I'm going to remember that guy says that at the end of that. One day. I've got a bit of sweet and sour stuck in my beard, I've realised. I've had sweet and sour before I came out and it's stuck in my beard. We'll discuss that and more after the news. Ladies and gentlemen, so what is it? 2 minutes past 10. It's Friday. I've had a really shocking day. Today. I'm not... I can say this because we're amongst friends. I'm not feeling any vibe today apart from a shocking vibe. Oh, it's been a terrible day. I won't go into details, but it's been a lousy day. But, what's that noise? Can you hear that noise? Shh. I can hear a sonic hum. Where's the sonic... Oh, I know what the sonic hum is. Hang on. You've turned my computer on, which is good of you. No, it's fine. And I've not plugged it in. That's me. That is... Miss! There we go. Let's just make sure it works, guys. Like
a boy laser. Why people don't live on occasion? I've got a good idea. Don't just keep me near. I'll be so good for you. I'm gonna help you. Rub you like you want me to.
There we go. And suddenly, guys, sing hosannas. Everything is back to order. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Ash. Steam is the only way. Kath knows this. Look, come in here for a second. From when we worked at the other place, right? Whenever I would get a cold, the voice would go. And it could happen, didn't it? Do you remember there was a show where at the start of the show it was fine, and then by the end of the show it was a little bit like this. Yeah. And I went, I'm not you will not see me for 2 weeks now, because the voice would go.
Yeah, and you went in that salt room.
I did go. I did go. You're in. Yes. Thank you. I always go for a steam, which is wet.
Yes.
And then someone said you need to go to someone said you need to go to a salt cave.
Yeah.
Right, which made it sound very exciting. I thought it was a natural phenomenon, and they said, there's one in Milton Keynes. So I booked it and I went, and I thought. 0844499 1000, by the way, 7 pence a minute plus your provider's access charge. We'll call you back. I thought I'd go to the mountains of Milton Keynes, the MK Mountains, and
delve into a crevasse.
I would delve into a crevasse, into a deep pit. But no, you go to this really horrible little trading estate, and there's a shop, and you go in, and there's a very nice lady there, and you put on plastic things on your shoes, and basically you go and sit in a room that is made out of salt.
Now, when you went, I imagined.
Yes.
I imagined you in a dressing gown.
Yeah.
And if you go to a spa.
That's what I imagined. No, keep your clothes on.
What?
You keep your clothes on.
Don't you end up with salty clothes?
Well, yeah. And you go into this room. If anyone's been to a salt cave, right? He's
saying a salt cave, not an assault cave.
An assault cave.
Oh, like in James Bond when they're all training.
Mate, don't. I'm showing my boys adult movies. Not like that! I get my pervert footballers confused. Because there's at least two, there's two that we can officially call perverts now, aren't there?
I'm nervous because I don't know enough about football to know whether you're right or wrong.
Well, one's still a convicted rapist.
Yes.
Although he's tried to overturn it.
Yes, I know you mean.
And one has sex with children.
No, committed sexual acts.
Thank you very much indeed.
With someone under the age.
And he had bestiality on his computer.
Right.
According to some of the papers. So I get confused.
He didn't get done for that though, did he?
No. And I don't know if technically it's illegal. It's unpleasant. But I've been showing my kids adult movies. Not that. I mean, I showed them. One of them had a bowler hat. What's wrong?
Someone's at a.
Oh, look! Someone spilt drinks in here, sir, and it wasn't me. Someone spilt drinks in here, sir. Drinks in
If you're going to do sneaky stuff like that, guys, you better mop it up. I'm not your mother.
Otherwise I'm going to grass you up. Clean it up, or be grassed up. That's the way it works here at Talk Towers. So I showed them One of them one of them had a hat, and then he was throwing it as a weapon. I said, whoa.
What, Odd Job?
I said, I kept calling him Odd Job. He said, who's Odd Job? I said, well, he's James Bond's mate. He said, what? I said, watch this. And I showed him the scene between Odd Job and James Bond. It's brilliant. And
you
then
can take the head off a statue.
Yeah, off a statue.
Yeah.
But then it was his downfall, because it got stuck in gold in like metal bars.
Yeah.
And then James Bond I think he did a wee on the floor, so he was the guy, Odd Job, was standing in liquid.
I missed
trying
that.
to pull his hat out of the metal bars, and then James Bond got like electricity and put it on the water. Anyway, it killed him. And then I told my boys that there are people, karate masters.
Yeah, karate masters. You get the karate man and a karate master.
And they can break boards with their punches and bricks with their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And my boys, 6 and 4, silly
Funny
names. They couldn't believe it. So I showed them. Then they believed it. And then I started thinking, these guys are ready to start watching some 15-rated movies.
No.
Yeah.
That's a leap.
Not the whole movie, just the violent bits. Jackie Chan, the master.
Okay.
Jackie Chan.
The thing about Jackie Chan is it's not real violence, is it?
Well, no.
It looks silly.
The thing about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's not real violence. It's a movie.
Yeah,
it's
but
acting.
It's made to look like real violence, whereas Jackie Chan one, it's just like it's like dancing with chops.
Jackie Chan, I think that's racist. Jackie Chan is more real violence than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Because if you watch to the end of the Jackie Chan movies, all the outtakes, he's broken every bone in his flippin' body. Every bone in his body has been broken. So that is actually real violence. He's nearly died about a dozen times.
Did he really, though, or was that just showbiz?
No, seriously. Oh, for goodness sakes, yeah. Honestly, he's cracked his skull open. He's broken his back.
Open?
Yes! He's cracked his knuckles. No, he's snapped his spine.
Well,
every bone in that man's body has been broken. Jackie Chan, the Jackie Chan story.
I thought the first lesson of karate
Here we go.
was falling over and not hurting yourself. I would suggest perhaps if he's hurting himself so much, he's not very good.
Here we go. Now this is interesting. This is how it all links up. Michael Pritchard is listening to us from Seattle.
Good.
Who's buried in Seattle?
Oh, I know.
Yeah?
I know.
Go on then. Say it. If you know it, say it. And I'm asking you.
Bruce Lee.
Thank you very much indeed. Bruce Lee, the master. The little dragon. I told you we wouldn't get
I wouldn't mess with him. He's not comical.
I told you we wouldn't get any phone calls on Good Friday. And you said, we'll get loads of phone calls. And then we don't get any phone calls.
They've all been down the booze.
0844 499 1000. Bruce Lee's buried in Seattle. And I was doing some filming in Seattle for a video game documentary. And I was a bit miserable, as I always am. And I had an argument with a bloke called Simon, who then went on to be the head of comedy at the BBC, about octopi.
Okay.
I did, actually.
Well, correct use of the plural.
He was
there.
having he had a salad with tiny octopi in it. And then he kept waving it in my face. I was a vegetarian at the time. And I said, oh, don't do that. Just don't. Simon, don't. Stop being an idiot and don't do it.
Oh.
He then went on to become the head of the BBC, and he gave me a part in The Persuasionist, so that was his revenge. So I was miserable. I knew that Bruce Lee was buried in Seattle. So I walked, which Americans don't do. Americans don't understand walking.
No, you're right.
I didn't know it was so far away from the hotel.
They don't have as many paths as we do.
I think I was smoking at the time as well. I had a cheeky fag in the hotel. Alarms went off everywhere. Because this was like, they were before us in banning smoking.
Yeah, they were.
And they came up and they said, sir, what are you doing? I said, nothing.
I remember going to see my sister. She was at university in San Francisco and being appalled at the lack of liberation.
Women's liberation?
No.
I think women have too much liberation.
You couldn't smoke within a certain area outside. You couldn't smoke within a certain distance from a building.
Good.
I know. Well, we know that now, but back in the day, and I'm talking the early the early 2000s, I thought, flipping it, that's a bit strict.
I think we've gone too far with the smoking ban. I don't smoke, haven't for a long, long time. I think we've gone too far. And I think that 50% of boozers should be non-smoking, and 50% of boozers should be... 50% of boozers should be non-smoking. 45% of boozers should be smoking cigarettes. 5% of boozers should be little Sonny Chiba. Really? Yeah.
Not a pipe. What about your pipe?
You can pack your pipe if you want.
Right.
Pipes are worse for you because it's a real. You get a real hit of the bad chemicals in the roof of the mouth and the back of the throat, and that's why pipe smokers are statistically more likely to have throat cancer than any other form of smoker.
Is that true?
But
Doctor.
I'm going to say yes.
But it's not true.
So I showed the boys, and I realised that this was a deviation from the original point, which I've got no idea what the original point was. But I showed the boys some Jackie Chan. It blew their tiny little minds. Nearly.
Did it lead to violence?
Yeah, oh.
Of course it did.
But more imaginative violence. It's like when we watched Home Alone. The youngest now is all about booby traps. And he keeps even now, he keeps going, Daddy, I've got a really good idea for a booby trap. What we could do is we could put a bucket and fill it with ice cream. And then when someone goes to eat it, the brick falls on their head.
Oh. I thought the bucket with the ice cream was the thing that was going to fall.
No,
He's a genius. I've been looking at the bucket thinking, what's this doing here?
Doing! Exactly. That's
you
how
made
it
me
works.
laugh the other day when you were talking
Just
about
the
the boys fighting. And I said, oh, what's happened? Because in my house, there has to be sort of a protagonist. There has to be a reason.
No,
you just said because they're boys.
Boys.
Just spontaneous violence.
They just fight all of the time. It's a joy to watch. It really is. It's uncontrolled violence, and there's not a lot you can do about it.
See, with my girls, it's because someone's got something that the other one was playing with, or someone's got a leg on her side of the sofa, or someone's looking at her funny.
Oh, I used to have that with my sister. Mum, she's looking at me!
Yeah.
And she used to take the mickey out of me when I did my Action Man voices. Because I would do an American accent. Because Action Man's American.
Yeah.
And so I'd be, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you. And she would, copy me.
Yeah.
Mum, she's copying me! I'm not. And then she'd stop and she'd look at me. Mum, she's looking at me! Used to do my nutting.
You know what I used to do to my sister? It's the non-contact stuff, torture. I was very good at. The phone was at the end.
This is Guantanamo style.
Yeah, exactly.
Now.
The phone was at one end of quite a long corridor.
Yeah.
You could get a decent run-up.
Yeah.
So she'd be on the phone, which is a shared phone for the entire house, talking to someone, and I'd start off with my back right up the corridor.
Yeah.
And I'd run at her as fast as I could and just stop just shy of her. Just repeatedly.
0844 499 1000.
Anyway, karate.
I know the deal, guys. I know that on holy festivals such as this, Good Friday. Why is it good? He died.
It's the holy.
Yeah, but
it's what he means. Good as in holy.
Well, why don't they say Holy Friday? They should say Bad Friday. Good Monday, because he comes back on Monday. Hey, Good Monday. It's not. It's just Bank Holiday Monday. It just means that Bed Knobs and Broomsticks is on
again.
Which is actually it's a terrible film. I never watched it as a kid, and we watched it recently because we'd done Just Bang Bang, which is 25 minutes too long. We'd done Mary Poppins, which is good. And then Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, I kind of thought was of the same calibre. Utter pony.
It was the first sort of experiment with, having cartoons in a film, wasn't it? So I bet it blew people's minds then.
I tell you what blew my mind as a kid, and we're not doing old kids' TV programmes. This is a film.
Go on then.
The Phantom Toll Booth. Do you remember that?
I started right. That is a book I started reading when I was a kid, and it was a school one, and I had to take it back, and I never finished it.
Well, I've been given the book. Matt Allwright from Rogue Traders and Watchdog gave me the book. I suspect it was a trap to see if I would rip him off. Can you take that call, please, mate? Thank you very much. We're desperate for them. 0844 499 1000. But there's a famous film starring Butch Patrick. Who was Butch Patrick?
Don't know.
He was the kid in the Christmas special of the Monkees. Who else was Butch Patrick? Eddie Munster.
Oh.
So starring Eddie Munster, right? And it starts off as a film, and he's in his bedroom, and he's miserable. And then this big box appears in his bedroom. And he opens it up. And it's a toll booth. And he goes through it, and he comes out the other side as a cartoon. And that's all I can remember of it.
I need to see that. I need to see that. And I need to read that book.
I bet
to the kids, of course.
I bet it's rubbish. Actually, I bet most of these. I bet Pete's Dragon is rubbish. I bet Digby, the biggest dog in the world, is rubbish.
You know, them remaking Pete's Dragon, and it's like it's a lot better than the original because I thought Pete's Dragon was pony.
Yeah. Well, both those films I've just mentioned. I don't know what's going on. Have we all dropped LSD and we're seeing connections and everything? Both those films I just mentioned have one of Britain's greatest entertainers in. A man I saw recently live on stage doing a one-man show.
Oh, that fella.
Oh, don't be like that.
What was he called?
I'm not telling you if you're going to be...
Hang on, no, Jim Dale.
Jim Dale. Let's get Jim Dale on the show.
Okay.
Me and my sister, who is another... Oh, the phones are lighting up, that's good. who is another. We'll do the break in a second. In fact, do you want to go and can you?
I'll go and help Ed.
Okay, you go and help Ed, and I'll do the break. Jim, let's get Jim Dale on the show. That would be an awesome guest. We'll start the show in a minute. Matt Haig is coming on at 11:30, by the way. Who he? I'll tell you after this.
I like the mushy peas.
I've got a mouthful of sausage.
Doorbells.
I won't go down in the goo.
Evening, everybody. Iain Lee, Talk Radio, 0844 499 1000. We'll call you back. Don't you worry about that. So Matt Haig's coming on at 11:30. Matt Haig is brilliant, right? He's a brilliant writer. I'm interested. One of the things I want to talk about is because he's a brilliant writer, right? And he writes brilliant books. What's the difference between a writer and an author? There we go. First question. Let me write that down. Matt, thanks for joining us. What's the difference between a writer and an author? Is there a difference? There must be. There must be. But he's written one book that is overshadowed, I think, all of his other books that are brilliant. And I've only read 2 and a bit of his other books. I've read The Humans, which is brilliant. A Boy Called Christmas, which is, get it now because it'll be cheap and then you'll have it in time for Christmas. It's a cracking book. And then I've just started reading The Last Family in England. But he's also written this book called Reasons to Stay Alive, which is I think it's a literal lifesaver. And I may have overshadowed the fact that he's done other stuff as well. I want to talk to him about that, talk to him about depression. I want to talk to him about wanting to kill yourself. Don't worry, I'll make it fun. I also want to talk to him about how he deals with plums on Twitter, because we both get... I suspect at the moment, actually, he's getting a lot more of it than I do. I'm getting a strange, nice wave of love on Twitter at the moment, primarily. But I've had some idiots. And I want to know how he copes with the idiots on Twitter. Because I'm starting to think... I read somewhere a quote from someone. It was a Daily Mail columnist, so I don't know why I'm giving any credence to it. But she said, I'm coming off Twitter because it's a vile sewer. I think she's right. John Ronson has kind of come off Twitter. He's on there every now and then. And Twitter's really good for me because I can go, we've got Matt Haig on tonight, and then loads of people will know, and we might get a few more listeners. Or I can say, next week we've got Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills and Nash coming on, and we'll get a load of people that will listen to the show that wouldn't normally listen. So it's good for that. But if I didn't need it for that, I'd get rid of it. It's a horrible place. It's just full of... And it is, though. It's horrible. And there are some, other broadcasters on there who are just bullies. Just nasty. And before someone goes through my Twitter history and finds out a tweet of me being nasty to someone, I probably have, actually. I probably have. And I've probably done one recently. But I'm really trying to be more aware of it and trying not to. Because but then, I don't know. We're all flawed, aren't we, Jamie? Yeah. Great, innit? Hey, blimey, you sound miserable, mate.
Well, I was all right until you started about killing yourself and stuff.
Well, listen, Matt Haig is... The first chapter of Matt Haig's book is about him standing on... Not the first chapter, but about him standing on the edge of a cliff wanting to, you make your own jokes, throw himself off.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
On Twitter as well, actually. He's quite a positive guy.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. And
yeah, I like
it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to just find out how he turned it around, because I struggle with the black dog. The black dog's been dumping on my bed all day today. Flipping heck, what a day it's been. Anyway, James,
you having a bad day, are you, mate?
Mentally, I've had a tough old day. Yeah. But we're getting there. Hopefully, you've got to believe that. I think otherwise you would jump off the cliff.
Yeah, you've got to see sunlight in the tunnel, haven't you? Somewhere. I mean, no matter how far away it seems.
I don't know if I can see the light, but I've got to believe that the light is there.
You know it's there. It is there.
Well, hopefully.
Just trying to make yourself believe it.
Hopefully. Anyway, what are you called in for, James?
Yeah, my dad did what you did. He used to let me watch the old Jackie Chan films when I was a kid, when I was really young.
How old were you?
I must have been about 8, 9.
Yeah, I remember being 9 and 10 and getting Bruce Lee films, and they were X-rated, and they were flipping violent, and they didn't have the comedy that the Jackie Chan stuff did. They were just nasty.
No, they were. I mean, Big Boss was what.
The ladies and gentlemen, the Big Boss.
That was entry level for me.
Same for me, right? And the Big Boss has got full frontal nudity of prostitutes.
Yep, and some quite horrific violence.
Drugs, horrific violence. Doesn't a fella get an ice pick in the head?
Yeah, they had that big fight in the ice factory, didn't they?
The big fight in the ice factory. Then the big fight at the end, right, where he's just, there's blood everywhere. Oh, I saw that at 10 years old, man.
I know. Did you see the sequel? Big Boss 2?
There's a couple of sequels. Is that the one? Now, there's one with Jet Li, and there's one with Bruce Lee.
I don't know. I can't remember. I was so young. The thing that sticks out of me from that film is where he gets the two bad guys. He gets hold of their top teeth, and he jumps into a tree and takes the jaw with him.
And we were watching this at 10, and it never did me any harm.
No, I turned out all right.
Well, who knows how much harm it may have done us.
But the thing with Jackie Chan and the outtakes,
yeah,
they showed the one where he was going down a hill, or I think it was just really fast down a hill being chased, and he had an accident and he ended up in a coma and nearly died.
Armour of God. That's from Armour of God, if I remember. He was. Yeah. Is that what he fell off? Well, there's one. The Armour of God one. He fell off of a castle.
Yeah, it fell right off a building, didn't he? And
broke fell off a castle, broke everything. Yeah.
He's doing all right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I love a bit of Jackie Chan. Get Jackie Chan on the show, Kath. Right, I want Jackie Chan, Pee Wee Herman, and whoever the other person was that I said earlier on that would be Jim Dale. There we go.
Jim Dale's awesome. I've heard an interview of him. He's good value for money.
Jim Dale is brilliant. Star of the Carry On film, star of the Pete's Dragon film. And me and my sister went and saw him last year do a one-man show in London's West End. Sorry for being London-centric, guys.
Has he?
And it was, do you know, I went thinking, that'll be all right. It was brilliant. It was 2.5 hours. I think he's about 75. And it was just him and a pianist.
Excuse me?
It was him and a pianist.
Oh.
And it was brilliant. I've never been so captivated.
He's he's got so many stories to tell, and the way he tells them. I think it's his voice as well. He does the Harry Potter.
Yeah, he does. Well, he does that. He does the audiobooks of the American Harry Potters.
Yeah,
and Stephen Fry does the British. Here's an interesting thing. Have you got kids, Jamie?
7. Hello? I get that silence a lot.
How many have you got?
7.
Never.
Really?
Yep.
How many have you got?
7.
That's outrageous.
I've got the oldest one's 21 and she's doing really well, got a career going, and my youngest one is 5 months old.
Oh, mate, put it away. Put, as Jeremy Kyle would say, put something on the end of it. And by that he means a condom on your penis. I've worked out. It took a long time for me to get what he was getting to there. Why do you keep having kids, mate?
Do you know what? When I was a child, I used to help bring up my sisters, talk to her, used to change nappies, and I sort of always wanted to be a dad myself. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, but I'm a dad, but I've got 2, and that's plenty. Yeah, well, after 2, I did say I was going to stop, and
you know what does it, yeah?
I forgot.
You know how they're made.
Well, I mean, I found out now. That's why I'm stopping.
Right, okay. Now you've made the connection. It'll be easier for you to stop fathering children. 7 flipping heck. Do you, when you read to your kid, do you read to your kids? Of course you do. You sound like a good dad.
Of course I do.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
One of the great joys of being a dad, or being a parent, is sitting down and reading to the kids. I love it. It's such a thrill. And I love it. There are times when I'm tired and grumpy and the kids say, read to me, Daddy. And I go, oh no, I'm too tired. And then I catch myself. And I think, do you know what? They won't be asking this for much longer because the oldest can read himself now. Come here, boys. Come on, let's sit down. Now, when you read, do you do the voices?
Of course, you've got to do the voices.
See, I tend not to do the voices.
You've got to do the voices. I read Cat in the Hat to the kids the other day. We all sat down and read Cat in the Hat. And I did it in that fast-paced style that Dr. Seuss.
Well, that's the speed. I mix and I do the speed, and I go very quiet sometimes, and then I do the thing that my boys laugh is I'll read something very, very quietly, and then suddenly on the wrong word I go loud, and they are terrified, but they just wet themselves laughing. But the voices, And so, all right,
I love the voices.
I haven't got a storybook on. Why would I have a storybook on me? I'm looking around for a storybook. So you do it. What I can't do is. And so the little old lady said, "Come here, young child." And then the boy said, "I'm not going there. What you talking about?" Do you do all that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But then how do you remember whose voice does what? And sometimes, we'll go to the break in a second, sometimes I don't know who's speaking, because it doesn't say until after a couple of sentences, "said the old lady." So I'll be doing the little boy's voice, and then it'll be the old lady, and it just confuses things.
You sort of scan ahead as you're reading, doing the voice for that line. You kind of try and scan ahead for the next line.
Where were you trained? Is it RADA?
I think 7 Kids is...
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Jamie. You're an excellent sport, mate. I appreciate it. 0844 499 1000. 0844 499 1000. I did want to ask... there was something linked there that I wanted to ask. Have you ever used your karate skills in real life? I did kung fu years ago, right? Up until about the age of about 14. 15, maybe. And at no point... Because there was always... in the 80s, there was talk of self-defense lessons. Oh, everyone should go on self-defense lessons. So, guys, so if you don't get beaten up in a pub, and girls, so you don't get raped. Self-defense. And it was self-defense courses. Every church hall and youth centre was doing self-defense courses Wednesdays, 7:30 till 9:30. Only £2.50. Has anyone ever actually used karate in a fight? Has anyone ever been walking down the street and a hoodlum has come out, "Give us a purse"? And you've gone, right, here we go. This is it. 15 years of karate training, here we go. And you get in your first position. Has anyone ever actually done that? Because I think you stink. No, I think you stink. I think the whole karate, kung fu thing, Aikido, I think it's a con. I think it's a con from the Orientals to make us spend our money. No one ever uses it. And also, if you get mugged, right, you'd be so scared. I've never been mugged. Touch. There's literally no wood in this studio. Is this wood? This could be wood. There we go. Touch wood. I've literally never been mugged, right? And I would be terrified. You'd be so scared, even with your karate training from Gary in the church hall. Friday evening, 7:30 till 9:30. It's only £2.50. Even hearing Gary's voice in your ear, you'd still be too scared to do anything, wouldn't you? 0844 499 1000. Geeky girl, have you ever used your karate skills in real life?
Hey, no, not that I can recall, no. But I did used to go to some Taijitsu class that was like ninja stuff.
Hang on a second. Taijitsu.
Yeah, that's what they called it, but it was actually ninjutsu, but they called it Taijitsu for some reason.
Well, hang on a minute. You've been... Was it with the bloke called Gary? Friday, 7:30 to 9:30, only £2.50?
It was about that price, but...
Yeah, because you've been sold a pup there. Right, Taijitsu doesn't exist. That's like, what's that? Taibo. And there's a Taibo, right? Which is it's made up. It's made up. Taibo doesn't exist, right? They've got one word from one fitness thing, and then a bow from the Dukes of Hazzard, and they've put it together to make Taibo, right? That is not anything. And Taijitsu is not a thing. And also, they're not allowed, legally, they're not allowed to teach you the secrets of the ninja.
Well, maybe that's why they had to change the name. It was an extra layer of secretness. It might have been, all of the shadows. I genuinely thought it was illegal to teach you the secrets of the ninja. I thought there was a law against it. And if anyone was found passing on the secrets for money, here's the best. You know, the best ninja way to kill someone, and this is flipping brilliant, right? You're going to love this. No, not snapping their neck. We didn't learn to kill people.
This is the best ninja way, but it only works with people who sleep on their back, so I'm safe. Because I sleep on my side and on my front, right? So the person's asleep on their back, right? And you have to climb up in their eaves, which is where we get the phrase eavesdropping from. Thank you. You climb up in the eaves. That means like the roof for people who aren't as clever as me. And then you get a tiny, thin bit of cotton, right? And you unwind it, just above their face. So the end of the cotton
is literally like half a cent. You've got to be so good at it because it's dark as well. Half a centimetre from their open mouth, right? And you hold it there, and then you get the tiny phial of poison, and you have to drop the poison on the bit of thread, so it just drops down, runs down the thread into the mouth. You wind the cotton up, and then they're dead. And there's no evidence at all. Ninja murders with Iain Lee.
You see where the little bit of cotton's dangling?
Because you're a ninja. You've got ninja skills.
They don't have night vision goggles.
No, but they train them. Flipping it! You claim to know the secrets of the ninja. They live underground for 6. I'm actually getting angry now. They live underground for 6 months in complete darkness, so they can see in the dark and they can sense in the dark.
Blimey.
There's a brilliant film, right? And I can't remember. I think it's called. Right after the first Godfather, there were a lot of people in it that went on to become household names, and they all got like their own film projects, right? Mm-hmm. And one of them was it Gene Hackman that was in? Was Gene Hackman in the Godfather? It was either it was James Caan. James Caan, that was it. James Caan's film that he was given after the Godfather. I think it was called Mafia versus Ninja, but I might be wrong.
What?
I might be wrong. I might be confusing. It was him, and it was the short, fat guy from Rocky.
Did you dream this?
No, this is a real film, right? This is a real film, and it was kind of the film he got given after The Godfather, because he was obviously going to be a big star, right? And in it, he plays like the mafia, but the ninja are furious with the mafia, right? Because a drug deal's gone wrong or something. And so it ends with, spoiler alert, it ends with the ninja attacking the mafia, right? On a boat, I seem to remember. If anyone knows, I think it's called Ninja versus Mafia. If anyone knows, 08444991000.
Just one ninja?
No, there's loads of ninjas, right?
Okay.
Right, guess who wins? So it's the ninja with their ninja skills versus James Caan, the short, fat guy from Rocky, and a few other mafioso. Guess who wins?
What weaponry have they got?
Well, the ninjas have got all the weapons: the shuriken, the nunchucks. They've got all of the weapons at their disposal.
Have they got bulletproof vests on?
They don't have bulletproof vests.
I'm going to still go with the ninjas.
Yeah. No, the mafia beat the Jesus out of them. Seriously. Oh. And there's one ninja, right? There's a brilliant bit. I've got to try and find this film, right? There's a brilliant bit where a ninja, in all his glory, jumps out from behind some crates, behind the short, fat one from Rocky, right? And the short, fat one from Rocky turns around, and the fella's like going, what? And the short, fat one from Rocky just makes a fist, punches him in the face, and he falls over into the sea and drowns.
That would never happen with
exactly.
a real ninja.
Exactly.
That's misrepresentation.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, what did you call in about?
No, I just want to say it was great hearing Caddick's version of Minder to wake us all up.
Yes.
I mean, not heard that for a while. And you said about Easter and you know, Good Friday and that, but it's really a pagan thing, isn't it, with the eggs and that, and chocolates for everyone.
For goodness sakes, guys!
Have you eaten Easter eggs yet?
I've eaten loads. I've got to buy some I forgot to buy some for my boys from my sister. Sorry, sis, who's listening. And if I try and get them tomorrow, they'll be sold out. So I might just keep the money.
This is it. I got one early, but then I accidentally ate it all, so I got another one and I finished it with my boyfriend today. It's not even the Sunday yet.
I've eaten loads. You finished with your boyfriend?
Oh, we finished eating the
okay.
one. No.
We've got loads like scattered around the house, like these, you know, the little Percy Parrot Easter eggs. What are they called?
Oh,
mini eggs.
Mini eggs. Yeah.
We got loads of them, and it's like in bowls and stuff. And the kids are quite good at not just going in for a handful. They're quite sensible. But I can't stop. I cannot stop diving in and eating these mini eggs. Very Moorish, like a fine cake or a delicious heroin. Very, very Moorish.
It was that Bonzo Dog Doodah Band song that was in the Cadbury's Parrot ad that did it.
It was, and look, I'm trying to find it on my computer. I haven't got all the songs I've got. I tell you what I have got. Hang on 1 second. I have got this. Which is the closest I could come to that. Yes.
Pitagora Suici by the Kurikorda Quartet. I think that's the reason I called you the first time on LBC.
Oh, isn't it funny? There's a cosmic thread. I've got to move on, Geeky Girl. There's a cosmic. Did you say your point in the end?
Oh, just hello and good evening to
Thank you very much indeed. I'm also, well, I was going to say I'm also remembering. I've remembered. As well as allowing me to watch Bruce Lee films at the age of 10, thank you to that call. I've just remembered how violent The Big Boss is. I love The Big Boss. It's such a good film. My parents also would buy me martial arts weapons. So I had, from about the age of 12 to about the age of 16, 17, I had throwing stars, shuriken. I had 3 sectional staff. I had many nunchuckers. I had about 4 nunchuckers, some mini chucks. And I'd stand in front of the mirror, right, trying to do the... and would just constantly crack myself around the back of the head. I had butterfly knives. I was like 14 years old. Really sharp knives. It's outrageous. It's outrageous, Daniel.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Daniel.
You all right?
Yep.
I got Chinese food. I was on the phone for about half an hour.
When?
When I was ringing you.
You've been on the phone for 14 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, about quarter of an hour.
Exactly. So I managed to shave 50% off of your initial claim.
You're a time saver, my friend.
But you're not...
Anyway.
Yes, go on.
I've got Chinese food. It's delicious. It turned up while I was on the phone for you.
Beautiful. What you got, mate?
It's sweet and sour pork with some weird... Have you seen that stuff with the boiled rice and the omelette on it?
Yeah, I don't like the omelette. I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't like that stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Here's the thing. I went for Chinese. There's a nice Chinese we found around the corner. Rude service. There's a lot of the service seems to be in the restaurants around here. Yeah. But really good food, right? And every time I go to Chinese, I think, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to sweet and sour pork, please. I always go for the sweet and sour pork.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You found your favourites. Stick to them.
Do you know what, actually? That's right, Daniel, because I would always beat myself up for not trying to be a bit more adventurous. But you're right. I found something, and I really, really like sweet and sour pork. I like it a lot. So I might as well just stick with it.
Exactly. I found Iain Lee in 2006.
Yeah.
I stuck with it.
2000. That would have been.
You're not losing me now.
That was, and I've got some sweet and sour sauce all down my jeans. I've been wearing these jeans, Daniel, and thank you for that. You're very kind. I've been wearing these jeans for 3.5 weeks. That's okay, isn't it? And now they've got. Now they've got food on. I reckon I've probably got another 5 or 6 days before I have to wash them.
Well,
I've not even sprayed them with deodorant yet to freshen them up, so I've got
done that twice this week, so we can move on. It's all right, my friend.
Anything else, Daniel?
No, I'd like to eat this Chinese, please.
Away you go, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Lino has just tweeted me. It was Mafia vs. Ninja, that film. And the whole film is on YouTube. I'm going to retweet that. Thank you, Lino. At Iain Lee, if you want to see that. Flippin' heck. Manny!
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Manny.
How you doing, pal?
I'm doing... Well, do you know...
You know what?
Go on.
I went on holiday, right?
Yeah.
I come back and you're not there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found him up. And I says, where's he gone? Oh, we got this new guy and listen to him. He's really good. I said, you must be bloody balmy.
This is on WM, yeah?
Yeah, yes. I'm not listening to it. I'm not listening to him.
No, he's... Well,
anyway, my daughter knew about you. Anyway, she was coming back the other day. And she goes, the madman's on the radio.
Oh, blimey.
I said, what madman? She goes, the one you used to listen to on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And then she tuned me the radio, because, you know, I can't see. She tuned me in, and then I tried to phone you the other day. I missed you, man. I missed you.
I've just realised that you're on. Shall I tell you why I didn't recognise your voice, Manny?
Because I haven't had a drink.
Yeah, because you're sober. You're sober and you've not got a hangover. Manny used to phone me at another place I worked at where I left abruptly, as I often do. I'll leave here abruptly one day. Doesn't matter. It's the nature of the business. And Manny, it's 10 to 11 on a Friday night. Why are you not steaming?
I haven't had a drink for 2 months.
Are you on the wagon?
I am, man, and I'm sort of on it. I haven't fallen off.
Oh, buddy. Well done. I'm very pleased. I'm very. What brought that on, man?
I thought I'd give you a rest.
Yeah, good for you. You feel better for it, I bet.
I do. Helps, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Good for you, mate. Well done.
No headaches in the morning.
Yep.
Anyway, I was really pleased when you came on this radio. Really, really pleased.
Me too.
Really
it meant I could pay the mortgage and feed the kids.
You're a joker, you are, mate.
No, I've not worked for 4.5 months.
Oh, never mind.
Never mind, eh?
Anyway, have a good show.
Is that it?
And no, you can carry on if you like. I'm not paying the bill, am I?
Have you? Right, Manny, now, for those who don't know, you're blind. How long have you been blind for?
About 4 years.
4 years. It was an accident, wasn't it, at work?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you remembered.
I remember. No, I remember you. You're a good caller. Do you, right, now, here's the thing, right, do you, and this is do you have any martial arts skills?
No, obviously.
Because I wonder, right, because you get in some of the karate films, you get blind martial arts peoples. There's the master in Kung Fu, the TV series, Grasshopper.
Mm-hmm.
There's a blind swordsman in Japanese folklore called Zatoichi.
I'm not that clever, mate.
What?
I'm not that clever.
It's not clever. They're karate films.
I know you know.
You don't
anyway. When I went on holiday, I went from here.
Yeah.
On my own. Listen to this. Then I booked a ticket to India.
What?
I booked a ticket. Well, my wife booked a ticket.
Yeah.
To India.
Yeah.
I got on the plane, went to India, I went home there, and then came back.
On your own?
Yeah.
Flip it, I nearly swore there. Flip it, Manny. That's a big one. Well done.
Yeah. Anyway, they wouldn't let me on she built in like I'm blind. You know, and say, have you got any specifications? Blah, blah. She built it in like he's blind and blah, blah.
Yeah.
Got to the airport and
he's blind and he won't shut up. Yeah.
And the woman says, you're blind. I was like, yeah, he's blind. How can he get on the plane? And she goes, I'm going to have to phone up and blah, this and blah, that. And I said, we'll fill everything. You know, you can't.
Here we go.
You can't bloody mess about people like that, you know what I mean?
So how did you... Go on.
They took me on the plane. Then my cousin met me in Punjab at the airport.
So why were they making a fuss about blind people people notoriously causing trouble?
No, because I was on my own. This is how you going to do this, how you going to do that.
Okay, tell me, how did you do it then? How did you get from the snooty woman at the desk to your seat in the aeroplane? How did you do it?
The bloke took me.
Beautiful. There you go. You see, you grab hold of someone's. Just hold my elbow. That's it. Away we go. We're off. That's it. How is that? The trouble.
They make a fuss.
Oh, they do. But when I took my mum, I couldn't do it now because she's not well enough. But years ago, I took my mum to New York. She's in a wheelchair, and we turned up and I'd specified it, and I said we're going to need assistance to get on the plane and all of this stuff. And we turned up and they said, I don't know if we're going to get her on the plane. I said, excuse me? I said, yeah, we're not going to be able to get her on the plane. Can she stand up? I said, no, she's in a wheelchair, mate. Can she walk? I said, no. I've told you all this before. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get her on there. I kicked off, and luckily, there was someone who worked for the airline at another check-in desk, was a fan of my radio show at the time, actually, and he came over, he said, Ian, don't worry, I'll sort this out. And he got us on, but it was incredible. Can she stand up and walk? Well, no, and I've told you that. And it's,
my missus kicked off at the airport.
Good.
She goes up, well, it was all on when we filled it all in, and he's blind, and, well, nobody said anything when they took the money over on the card, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 this, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's a big gobby care anyway, my missus is.
But Manny, listen, I'm glad you did it. When did you go? Recently?
I went in September, early September. But it was hot. It was hot. But when I come back, you was gone. And that woman, she messed me about. I said, where's Iain? She goes, oh, he's gone.
No, it's not. Listen, no one's. When someone leaves a radio station, right, no one is allowed to tell people where that person's gone, and I think it's outrageous. And it will happen here. It will happen here. You phone up.
They're not supposed to. They shouldn't slag you off, should they?
Who slagged me off? Hang on a minute. Who slagged me off?
Those not slagged you off, but they said, oh, listen to this guy, he's much better, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember that woman's name. I said, oh, you need to go into a mental thing, man.
Well, Maddie, listen, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a weird thing, radio, and it will happen here. I normally get about 3.5 years at a place, and that's not bad odds. But when someone, I think it's such a terrible disservice to the listener, because radio is a real intimate relationship between presenter and listener. Much more intimate than television. Television, you've got no connection with the people on television. Radio, it's me, and I'm talking to you while you're in bed now, or while you're driving to work now, or while you're getting the kids' lunch ready for tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? You've invited me into your house. And when someone leaves a radio station, it's generally, it happened recently to a bloke called Martin Kellner, it's generally, you come off and they say, well, that was your last show, thanks very much. And there's then, that presenter is then dead. So the person tunes in next week to hear their favourite person or someone they really like, and it's a different voice, and they phone up and say, what happened to presenter X? Oh, he doesn't work here anymore, but listen to this new guy. It's just a bit rude. Kyle's on the line. Yes, Kyle?
Evening, Ian. Are you okay?
I'm all right, Kyle.
I had two things, but I was going to say what you just said about somebody never knowing it's their last show is really true and really profound.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's profound. Is it profound?
I think it is, yeah, because people do. Because, I don't know, it's that ephemeral nature of, you never get to do your last show.
No,
rarely.
You very, very rarely. The two examples I've got of people doing their last show are Danny Baker, and he slagged everyone off, and Paula White, who was drunk. And it's an amazing clip of a woman in a terrible mess, and she's absolutely steaming drunk because it's her last show. But I knew that I was leaving WM, and I had the show all planned out, and it was going to be delightful. It was going to be a celebration of the time there. And had I known, I knew that I would leave the other place at some point, and I kind of had the show in the back of my head. We were going to have a week-long celebration of friendship and relationships and, and music and laughs and stuff, and those options are very rarely given to a presenter, and I think it's sad. But it's the nature of the reason they do it is because, suppose I got the boot here, right, which will happen, right? They don't want me going, all the bosses here are up their own bums, and I hate them, and I hate Paul Ross, and I'll tell you about Julia Hartley. But they don't want that, and they don't want people going, right, well, I'm leaving this station, but you'll be able to listen to me next week on Capital Gold from exactly They don't want that, and that's fair enough. But I also think it's rude to the listener to not let them have that opportunity.
No, it's not like you say you build up that relationship. However,
yes, I
did have a more jovial subject for you.
Well, you've got 30 seconds in which to tell it, Carl, because you've banged on so long.
Oh, sorry, mate. Anyway, so I played the
family teasing.
I played the Hawaii 5-0 theme by Sammy Davis Jr. earlier.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, Michael Bublé did Spider-Man.
Did he?
So. Yeah,
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
Spider can. Yeah.
So what's your question?
So the question is, right, and it could be.
You got 3 seconds.
Right. Well.
Yeah, you blew it. Iain on Twitter has summed up the show perfectly tonight. It's a great show, Iain. I'm not sure I could tell you what's going on though. Perfect. We'll have that. Put that on the posters. Have you ever used your karate skills in real life? Do you still use your VHS or Betamax video recorder? And anything else you fancy? We'll be speaking to Matt Haig in about half an hour as well. If you want to give us a call, 0844 499 1000. More of your calls and general randomness after a bit of the news. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Ever used your karate skills in real life? Do you still use a VHS or a Betamax? Or, what was that? Laserdisc. That was going to be the future. And anything else you fancy, really. It's you know, it's the show is still finding its feet, and I kind of wallow. No, I relish. No, I don't relish in. I don't wallow in. What's the word? Id, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. I
don't know.
No, well, try harder. I don't wallow in it because that implies that something is bad. I don't relish in it because that is a thing you put on food.
You stew in it?
No.
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 You got me thinking.
English
about
is your second language. I don't know what I'm asking you for. What do you speak over there?
New Zealandish.
Exactly. Dan, what's the word I'm trying to think of? No, that wasn't it. It doesn't matter. I enjoy, but anyway, I enjoy. Thank you, Dan. I said Dan, not Dad. Even I thought I'd said Dad. I enjoy the randomness of it. And so, you know, you can call in about whatever you fancy. 0844 499 1000. Brandon is listening in America. Brandon, if you email me, no, hang on. How does the email's address work? Oh, yeah, it's names and then at something. Iain at iainlee.com. You email your phone number and we'll give you a call in a bit if you want to do that. Although I don't know if my emails are working, actually, so maybe I won't. Oh, yeah, no, they should be. They should be. There we go. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Those breaks take it out of me. The momentum is sucked out of my body like a marrow from a bone. What is bone marrow, Iain? Is it, you know, when a dog has a bone and there's that kind of like brown stuff in the middle of the bone? Is that the marrow?
That's the marrow bone.
Is it? Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Could a human eat that?
Yeah, if they wanted to get ill.
What does it taste like?
I wouldn't know. I've never eaten it.
And when you give bone marrow... Rejoice! Thank you, Andy. When you give bone marrow transplants, which is kind of pertinent to me, because one person in my family's got...
It's not that type of bone marrow. It's different.
What do you mean?
Well, it's different bone marrow.
For the transplant?
Yeah. I haven't come on to talk about bone marrow.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Pork.
You have come on... and you have just muscled your way into this conversation in a very aggressive way, if you don't mind me saying, sir. So,
really?
So, hang on, you're telling me there are two different types of bone marrow?
Yeah, there's dog's bone marrow and there's human bone marrow, and they're different.
Yeah, but I have bones. Got one right now. And,
that's talking to me, isn't it, obviously?
I've got bones, but my bones are the same bones that a dog would eat.
No, dogs don't eat human bones here.
No, but bones is bones.
No, there's different types of bones. Oh dear, oh dear. Can we talk about sweet and sour pork?
What qualifications?
Well, 12% of people taken to A&E.
Give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. You're just stealing James O'Brien's act there. Go on. Yeah, go on.
The sweet and sour pork is very, very dangerous.
Oh, wow! I was not expecting that sentence to come on the... Sweet and sour pork is very, very dangerous?
Would you take a pork chop, put it in batter, and then deep fry it for, 30 seconds, and then eat it? I wouldn't do it. I have done in the past, and it just it's full of bacteria. It's horrible. You need to stick to chicken, or you need to stick to prawn.
Well, hang on a minute.
Pork in it.
I have eaten Sweet and sour pork. I've only been a meat eater for the last, it's 2 years now. 2 years. I was a vegetarian for 26 years, and then I went back to the meat, and I love it, right? I've eaten, in those last 2 years, I must have eaten sweet and sour pork about 50 times, right? I have not once had the trots.
Well, you must have a very, what's the word, constitution, because unfortunately I cannot eat the stuff because it makes me ill. And I know lots of people that it makes ill. You do not eat pork that's been sitting there and put in batter and put in the deep fryer. It's just...
Well, no, they cook the pork before.
Of course they cook the pork before, but they don't cook it and then deep fry it. They cook it and leave it there for ages for the bacteria, and then they deep fry it. And it doesn't kill the bacteria. They cook it for 30 seconds.
Don't come on here spreading. You're like those people that come on right after the terrible atrocities that have happened this week and go, well, all Muslims, of course, are terrorists, and we need. You're like, you know what you are, Iain? You're the British Donald Trump. You are the British Donald Trump.
I've just been watching him on the telly.
Spreading your filth and your lies and your hatred, but not about Muslims and Mexicans. About sweet and sour pork. Another harmless, beautiful thing.
I tell you something, Iain. Let's let everybody who eats sweet and sour pork this weekend eat it and then come back on early next week and tell you how ill they've been. And there'll be people throwing up.
I had it 2 days
on
ago.
The toilet.
I had it 2 days ago and I'm fine.
It's the devil's food.
Thank you very much indeed. There's the quote of the show, guys. If the show ever needed a title, it would be Sweet and Sour Pork is very, very dangerous. Oh, I love a bit of sweet and sour. And pork is the way forward, I think, definitely. Pork is pigs, yeah? Yeah, okay. Az is on the line. Evening, Az.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm very, very well. I'm very well.
Great.
I don't like, I think it's a cheap shot, right? I think it's a cheap shot to make jokes about people's names. I think it's cheap, and I don't like doing it. So I don't do it. But can I tell you what pops up in my head every time I say your name?
Oh, no. Go on, then.
As you were. As you were.
All right, I can live with that.
Oh, it's not malicious. It's just it's an involuntary thing. So every time I say, all right, Az, in my head, it goes, you were. So you hear me say all right, Az, but you don't hear, you were.
Oh, I can live with that. I've been called worse before.
Oh, I bet you have. Was?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've got to agree with the last caller about sweet and sour pork, because I was attacked by sweet and sour pig when I was a small boy, and it was one of the most traumatic events of my life. But that's not what I called up about, actually. There was two things, actually. One of them was to do with you, and one of them was to do with my cat.
Where do you want to go first? Go on.
Well. First of all, now that you've started a new show and everything,
yes, sir.
I was wondering, do you ever feel like the executive producer of Doctor Who?
With all my assistants.
And no, I'll explain what I mean by that. Is that firstly, when Doctor Who came back on the air about, 10, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
They obviously had to do something new and great to get a new audience on board, but they also acknowledged that they had an old fan base as well. So they had to make references back to the old days.
I see
do you feel you're trying to avoid that, or...?
Do you know what? That is an excellent point, as you were. I'm being reminded of lots of the old stuff. People are phoning up and saying lots of the old stuff that I'd forgotten about, because I don't remember what I did yesterday, let alone 10 years ago. And everybody is welcome. I'm not encouraging it too much, I don't think. I'm trying not to encourage it too much. But it's everybody is welcome to say their thing. So, yeah. It's funny, when I was choosing the beds for the show, so I've got this computer with all these musical things. The studio, I'm not playing too many of them because the studio isn't set up quite the right way I need it. I haven't got a fader, basically, for the music that I'm playing, for the computer. Right. So I'm having to do the volume on the Mac. It's not ideal. But when I was choosing all the musical beds, I was thinking, well, do I keep that one? Do I keep that one? And it was a balance of trying to find old ones, like this. Hang on, here we go. Oh, no, the computer's not working. So here's an old one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it is an old one. And then,
What about the hold music from the post office?
I haven't got that anymore. That was great.
No, really?
Hang on, here we go. Shh. I've just seen a face, I can't forget the time or place where we just met. She's just the girl for me. I want all the world to see we've met. La da 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 dum. Had it been another day, I might have looked the other way, and I'd have never been aware. But as it is, I'll dream of her tonight. Da 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 da. All together now. Falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. There we go. So there's the post office. For those who don't know, the post office hold music. I don't know if they still do it, right? But about 8 years ago, it was the most wonderful, relaxing, beautiful music I have ever heard in my life. And I would often, would genuinely often phone up just to be put on hold and listen to the music. It was so beautiful, and we never, ever, it's still one of life's great mysteries, we never found out what the post office hold music was.
We never found out the name of it?
Never found out the name of it, as you were.
Oh, great. We can't even look it up then.
Well, I tried to look it up. I think that's the reason I left LBC in the end, was I kept looking it up.
Oh, well, maybe you should post it into James O'Brien and see if someone can work it out.
Lovely, James. Very quickly, because I've got to go to the break. Cats, you want to talk about cats?
All right, cats. All right, you've got to tell me whether you think this is right or wrong.
Go on.
There's another cat that keeps coming in through my cat's lab and eating all of his food.
Uh-oh.
Every time I run into the kitchen, because I hear him coming in, he just bolts outside. So what I did tonight was I switched the cat flap so it only came in.
Yep.
So he couldn't get out again. Now, this scared the fur off of him.
Yeah.
Now, is that cruel?
Yeah.
Because they haven't physically harmed the cat. I just scared him. But
right. Imagine
he was pretty scared.
Imagine it was a child, right? Imagine there was a child that keep coming into your house and stealing biscuits, right? Would you lock that child in your kitchen and terrify him?
Oh, yeah, I'd scare the willies out of him.
Well, then there you go. You carry on. You've done exactly the right thing. Id, I have an American telephone number for you, written on a scrap of paper.
Okay.
If I give it to you, could you dial it?
I can give it a go.
Let's see what happens. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Evening, Iain Lee. Talk Radio, 0844 499 1000 is the phone number here every Monday to Friday. 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. There's also a best of podcast you can get if you go to iTunes or your usual. I think that's the code for the States, isn't it? 0011. Something like that. Just see who you get. There's a best of podcast. iTunes or your usual podcast providers. If you go in and type in Iain Lee Talk Radio, it comes up, and we're doing very nicely in the charts. Oh, now this might be the post office hold music. Let me have a listen. Let me have a little listen. Yeah, this is it. Listen to this. I don't know if it still is. This used to be the post office hold music. It's just wonderful. So imagine you phoned up, you got a right cob on, right? Because I had a lot of parcels going missing. That was why I used to phone them up. And you'd be fuming, right? And then you hear this. Just going to put you on hold, sir. Don't put me on hold! Wow. Isn't it great? This bit's a little bit... This is like when you get buy the album that's got a theme tune to a TV programme, and the bit you never hear. But then, there. Isn't it amazing?
I really don't feel as angry as I do about the post service now after hearing that.
What the hell is this music, guys? Honestly, it's been bugging me for about 10 years. Anyone knows what this is? You can't Shazam it. Shazam won't do it. Try it. Shazam. No match found. Yeah, no match found. It's the great mystery tune. Evening, Andrea.
Good evening.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm not too bad, thank you. You okay?
It's nice, that music, isn't it?
It is. I was drifting with it.
Yeah, it's good. It's better. I haven't been for a while actually, but I sometimes go for a massage, a legitimate massage, and they do that thing where they put whale music on. You know the
The singing dolphins.
What does a dolphin sound like? Is that?
I don't know. I've never actually tried to have a conversation with a dolphin. Ian.
I've never tried to do a dolphin noise until now, and I thought I could do it. No, it's more like. Anyway, I don't find dolphins very relaxing because I know that they are dirty buggers, right? They are filthy, right? And I'm imagining that they're up to all kinds of shenanigans when they're making that recording.
Well, it could be. You don't know.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, what you got for us, Andrea?
It was a couple of things. One was about the book by Matt Haig, The Reasons to Stay Alive.
I'm fingering my copy right now. He's going to be on in about 10 or 12 minutes or so. Yeah.
And I can't wait. His book helped me a lot.
Now, tell me how, because I have a relationship with this book, but there will be people who think a book helped you. How does it? Try and explain, if you can. I know it's tricky because I've struggled to. How this book, and it's not. You can read it in a day. How it helped you?
Well, when you've got depression, it's hard to explain to people how you're feeling, or you think that you're the only person that's feeling the feelings that you've got, and to read it on paper that somebody has felt the same way, you don't feel as much of a freak, if you want to put it that way, because you know other people are suffering, and it is helpful to know that you're not on your own.
And here's the thing, because there will be people listening rolling their eyebrows, although I think we've got a pretty intelligent listenership. But it's not like some horrific, although they're quite useful sometimes, one of those horrific American self-help books at all. There's very little advice in there. There's some bits of advice, but it's basically, primarily, I read it as primarily him just sharing the misery that he reached to the point where he wanted to kill himself and couldn't go and buy a packet of cereal in the shop because it was panicking too much. And the fact that he managed to come out the other side.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people need to know, is that it's not necessarily the self-help that you need in a self-help, but to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm. Well, he's coming on in just after 5:30, and I've only met him once, very very briefly, and I got a little bit starstruck because I think he's a top bloke. So I'm gonna grind him into the ground tonight, Andrea. I'm gonna tear him apart. I'm gonna destroy him on the radio. Don't tell him though.
Oh, that's okay. I'm good at keeping secrets.
Good. How you doing, Andrea? You all right? I say you're right. So when it comes to depression, that question is slightly misplaced, but it's the best one I've got in my limited vocabulary.
It's okay. Yeah, I have my good and my bad days.
Yeah.
But on my good days, I can laugh and joke like the best of people. But on my bad days, it's like picking through cotton wool.
Yeah.
You can see things, but everything's fuzzy and hazy in your mind. But yeah, I'm getting there.
It's tough, isn't it? I've had a really shocking week for all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's not easy, and people think that because they can't see that there's something wrong with you, that there isn't anything wrong with you.
Mm. I've had a lot of people saying, well, you've got a new job now, so you should be all right. Well, yeah, it don't work like that. I still hate myself, I still hate myself, and...
Yeah, you still feel inadequate as well sometimes, that you're not good enough for people.
That's funny you should say that. I've been thinking that a lot this week. I've been thinking that, gosh, yes, you've stumbled on something there, Andrea.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about his other books as well, because he's written loads of other books. He's a fab writer.
Yeah, believe it or not, I've not actually read any of his other books. That was the first one I read, and it was actually a gift from a good friend who realised that I was hitting rock bottom and thought it would help.
Well, you've got a good friend then to get you that, and we'll mention a couple of his other books, and you might be interested in them. He's a talent, Matt Haig. He's a good guy. Andrea, nice to talk to you. Thank you very much. I'm just moving on because I want to squeeze Brandon in the United States of America.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
Oh, he's a British man.
Yes, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm actually from Eastbourne via High Wycombe in Bucks. So,
I know High Wycombe very, very well. I've driven down that hill many, many times.
Oh, indeed.
Well, what are you doing in Boca Raton in Florida?
Well, I emigrated back in 1994, and My youngest son was born in Hillingdon. We brought him out when he was a toddler.
Yeah.
Had another one born in Milwaukee. So we've been out here for 22 years.
Are you doing what I do when I go to America? And you've been there for a long time. Whenever I go to America for a week or so, I start playing the Hugh Grant card. And I stammer a little bit, and I'm quite well spoken when I'm in America. Is that what you're doing now, or are you actually quite posh?
No, actually, I am painfully unable to do an American accent, and it's like your good self, as Barry would say. Like your good self, I went to a drama school.
Yeah, okay.
Went to the Rose Bruford College.
I think they turned me down. Yes, I know Rose Bruford.
And, had to master all the British regional accents and all that stuff. So I could do that fine. And then come to the States, and I cannot do it to save my life. And even if I try, my kids just go nuts and say, please, Dad, just stop.
Do your kids have American accents?
Totally, yeah.
Oh, that's wrong, mate. That's not right. That is not...
But they can speak sort of British English as well. They understand...
Yeah.
They understand that, they'll say tomato and tomato in the same sentence.
Yeah.
So
isn't that
it's
funny?
Quite interesting.
Isn't that funny?
But the reason for my call was that it's just so nice to be able to call you, because I've had years when you've been on, completely in the wrong time zone for
I'm
me.
sorry. Yeah, well, this is why... This is why I got the boot from the last place, Brandon, was for you, was just for you.
Well, that would be true, except I also listened to you on Absolute back in those days.
Yep.
So you were asked. I was listening to the podcast last night, one of your preview podcasts, and you were talking about, what were the good old days, and there are definitely sort of like phases where you've been at different places where there's been, a really good vibe and everything's clicked. You have a certain combination of people. Yeah. And I'm so happy that that Kath has come with you to talk radio. That's fantastic.
It is good, and she's. I don't know what you're saying. That I don't know where she is. I've not seen her since 10:10. So we'll be having words. But I'm a true believer that, and not everyone buys this in radio. I think they're wrong. It's the producer and the presenter relationship is I think integral. And when I've had good producers like Agent Chris or Eloise or Kath, then it's a different show altogether. I've had some producers that don't get me, or that want to control me, or that I just didn't get on with. I just didn't like as a human being. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. When I've got someone that I can play with and that trusts me and I trust them, and I can, I would be quite happy if Kath came in now and sat down and went on a rant for 10 minutes. I know that it would be a good rant, and my ego is such that I could sit back and let her do it and not afterwards go, what the hell were you doing? There are some presenters, Brandon, who like to kick up a stink if things don't go their way. And I may have been like that about 10 years ago. I'm not like that now. I'm happy to share the spotlight. I'm glad you found us. Well,
I'm very happy that you found the gig, and that you're going to enjoy the next 3.5 years there before something else kicks off.
Well, I tend to last about 3.5 years. Tends to be, and it's good. It's kind of healthy because I start running out of ideas after about 3 years. And I need to be shaken up. Brandon, I've got to move on because we're going to get ready for our guest. Kath is no doubt going to rush in and phone up Matt Haig as here's our next guest. This is Iain Lee, Talk Radio. Let's have some of this. I went to blow my nose then, but I couldn't find my handkerchief, and that's always a worry. I get very anxious if I don't have a handkerchief around me. No, I don't want a tissue. I cannot be doing. I tell you what I can't be doing with tissues and people who say tissues. Could you pass the tissues? People say that, and it makes me very, very uncomfortable. This is Iain Lee on Talk Radio. If you want to phone up and speak to our guest, I'm sure, I've not asked him, I'm sure he'd be cool. 0844 499 1000. But otherwise, just sit back and take a break for a little bit and listen to the relaxing chat. Listen to when Catherine finishes chatting with him. I can see you working it. It's an absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome to the show Matt Haig. Evening, Matt.
Evening, Ian. Hello.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm very well, actually. I've just had a nice, calming herbal tea, and I'm feeling quite nice.
What herbal teas are you going for at the moment? Because I'm off caffeine now.
I can't do caffeine. I'm sleep easy. I don't know what make it is, but sleep easy. I thought, well, as I'm going on radio, perfect.
You don't want to sleep easy now. You want to sleep hard. No, hang on. You want to stay awake now.
True. Yes, I know. I might go quiet in about 2 minutes.
How long have you been off the caffeine for?
Years.
Really?
I mean, yeah. It's just literally. I can just about do alcohol. I can't do caffeine. I don't know why. I don't know why they legalise that stuff. It's crazy.
It's nuts. I haven't had a drink or a drug for about 12 years, but I do. I love coffee, and I remember a couple of years ago we got this coffee from this kind of powdered coffee. Me and Kath were drinking it at work because we were doing a breakfast show, so we had a lot of coffee. And after about 3 days of drinking this, we were miserable. I mean, like, I was going home and crying, and we were just crashing. And it dawned on me, it was this particular coffee we were drinking. It was so strong that when we were, we'd have 2 or 3 cups at 7 o'clock in the morning. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we were coming down. We were jonesing. It was awful. And you're right, that stuff is... It's toxic stuff, coffee. Coffee in particular. Yeah. I know it's in other bits and pieces.
Yes. I mean, people swear by it, don't they? But they need it in the morning to get them through. They're addicted and they need it. But, yeah, for me, if I had a coffee first thing in the morning, that'd be it. I'd be sort of seeing leprechauns for the rest of the day. It'd just be...
Now, Matt, it's so nice to talk to you. We have we met very briefly. I was having one of the worst days of my life. Bizarrely, and I feel I can share this stuff with you. I just come from my therapist who told me that I was probably in the middle of a breakdown. And then I came and saw you and got a book signed, and I was a little bit starstruck. So all in all, it was a very strange day. We'll talk about reasons to stay alive in a second, but I've got to ask you a question about the humans.
Right.
Because I read this. My wife bought it for me about maybe 2 years ago, I think, for Christmas. And I loved it. But I think I completely misunderstood it.
Okay.
In the same way that I misunderstood The Good Dinosaur, it turns out. I got the premise wrong for that. You know the asteroid, the meteor at the start of The Good Dinosaur?
Yes.
That's supposed to be the one that hits Earth and wipes out the dinosaur, but it misses.
Yes, it's a parallel universe.
I didn't... See, look, you knew that. I didn't know that. I felt so stupid. In The Humans, which is brilliant, right? Has he actually been taken over by an alien? Or I read it that he'd had a mental breakdown.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I do see it as a science fiction thing. I see it as like a metaphor, I suppose, for a breakdown, maybe. But I actually like it being like, what's the word, a fable, where it is actually an alien. Yeah, I thought go the whole hog. My editor was like, no, it's got to be this sort of unreliable narrator who just thinks he's an alien, and then he sort of goes through therapy and realises he's not actually an alien. And I think, no, just make him an alien. But weirdly, it's totally autobiographical, because I was sort of writing about... I never thought I was an alien. But, that feeling of depression, that feeling of being very sort of far away from people, and that sort of, which lots and lots of people relate to. And I was just sort of putting that down. And I thought, what is the sort of perfect way of expressing what those sort of mental health problems feel like? And I thought, an alien being.
It's a good book. Listen, I've often wanted to write a book, and I kind of start. I start, and I haven't got the patience, and I haven't got the skills, and I haven't got the dedication. When you write something like The Humans, do you sit up, bolt upright in your bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, I've got it. Right, the next one's going to be this guy, and he's an alien. Or how do you come up with? This is a really dumb question, but I like my dumb questions. How do you come up with the stories, Matt?
How do I come up with a story? I don't have a clue. I mean, in most cases, one case, I wrote a children's book last year called A Boy Called Christmas, about Father Christmas as a boy. That literally, I was just ripping off my son, basically, who said, was Father Christmas ever a boy? And I thought, oh, yeah, has an origin story for Father Christmas ever been done? No. So that was an obvious place. Often it's just like, yeah, I'd love those sort of eureka moments where you get it, but it's generally just a long, pained process of sitting at a Word document, sitting at your laptop, and just, I'm seeing quite fast as writers go, but I do one book a year. I still think that's pretty slow, really. I think compared to the amount of people working proper jobs, that's, to write 70,000 words a year, that being your job, that's, we all do that on Twitter and Facebook, innit?
You do get distracted by Twitter a lot.
It's true. It is true. I'm trying to sort of limit the hours a day I have access to it. There's some app which blocks you from being on it.
Yeah.
My wife's getting pretty sort of heavy about it and saying you cannot be on, in daylight hours or whatever. But yes, I do. Twitter, I don't mind Facebook. I think Facebook's kind of like a family wedding, isn't it? But Twitter is just more like, it's quite intense. It's like a sort of techno club in Berlin or something, and everyone's sort of just very, jaw clenchy, and I don't know, there's not much empathy and love going around sometimes. But that said, we kind of met there, didn't we?
We did actually. That is a positive. I have met quite a few good people on Twitter, and then spoken to them in the real world.
Yes, exactly, and and I think for people who might be having a little bit of a hard time in life, whatever, it's a good way of finding sort of like minds, fellow sort of troubled souls or whatever.
It's also, though, a good way of finding complete and utter arses, because there are Twitter. I find is kind of like crack, right? Whereas Facebook is more like smoking a joint. Twitter is like crack in that it's instant and it is very addictive and it's very. All right, how many retweets did that get? I want more. I want to interact with that person. I want to follow that person. Why has that person stopped following me? And recently, I've been really lucky in that the last few months I've had, because of all the stuff that happened at the other place, I've had a lot of affection and a lot of kindness shown to me on Twitter, and it's been really nice. But I'm guessing you're the same. I could have 100 people say, "Oh, you're a really nice bloke. Well done. I wish you the best of luck," and one person saying, "You're an idiot and you deserve everything you get."
Yeah.
And that's the one that sticks with me. And all of the others become irrelevant. It's that one that I carry around in my head at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's like the tiny little stone in your shoe, isn't it, that you're just noticing. And, all the time. And it's about things that if you were saying this to people across the table, they'd be totally fine about it. But people misinterpret things that get so intense. They imagine if you have a sort of, I don't know, over 1,000 followers that you're you can just take whatever you... But no, I mean, I do moan about Twitter. I mean, I do spend a lot of time on Twitter, so... and I'm argumentative. I'm very argumentative. So if someone says something to me, I genuinely... I don't really enjoy it, but I just find myself just arguing, and it's not healthy. But, I think it's designed to be like that. I think they deliberately... want us to be like that.
It's not good. I think. It's not good. I don't think for vulnerable people because it is easy to. I blocked about 300 people, and then recently I unblocked them as an experiment. Not the ones that threatened to kill me and my children. I kept those guys blocked. I thought maybe I wouldn't allow them back into my life. But I kind of unblocked everyone, and just there are some unpleasant people. I mean, there's the fella that was after the Brussels attacks. I've got his tweet here because he's in the paper. I confronted a Muslim woman yesterday in Croydon. I asked her to explain Brussels. She said nothing to do with me. A mealy-mouthed reply. People really feel... I wasn't intending to talk to you about this at all, but people really feel that they can say what they want, and they can criticise creative people and artists and presenters and writers in a way... if someone doesn't like my radio show, that's fine. But for someone to say, you're... really rubbish, you deserve to get the sack, and I hope you never get a job again, which I've had, and I'm sure you've had similar as well. Yes. It's a really strange phenomenon that people feel comfortable doing that.
Yes, and that it's a legitimate thing to do. And it's very weird, isn't it, that you're suddenly not a real person. I mean, I suppose it's a sort of backhanded compliment that they think we're so... I don't know, successful or whatever, that we're sort of immune to... We just live in these sort of bubbles. It's totally silly. But, I do think that Twitter has made you realise quite how many annoying people there are.
Delicately
in the
put.
universe. But no, lovely people.
Matt, I have to pay the rent. I want to come back. I want to talk about A Boy Called Christmas. Can you wait for a couple of minutes? Is that okay?
I can do.
Beautiful. I'll come back to you straight after this. We'll take calls straight to air after midnight. At the moment, I'm chatting to author. Is there a difference between author and writer, Matt?
I always say writer. I don't know why. Author just sounds a little bit grand.
It does sound a bit grand. Listen, I've just started as well reading. What's the title of it? The Last Family in England.
Oh yeah.
Now that was your first novel, was it?
Yes, it was. I wrote it years and years and years ago.
It's a cracking read. It's about. I've not got far into it, so I don't want any spoilers. But Labradors basically looking after humans is kind of the premise. When you got... Was that the first book that you'd written and it got accepted? Or had you written books before and sent off and got all the rejection slips? How did that work?
It was the first full book I'd written, but that book itself was rejected tons and tons and tons of times. And, yes, you get rejected... you have two bouts of rejection as a writer. You get rejected by agents and then you get rejected by publishers. So, it was sort of a last on my list in terms of both. But I'm very slow. Books, it's incredibly slow. It's like 2 years. You send it off, and then 2 years later, you get the deal. But, it was amazing because I wrote it in quite a sort of... Well, still while I was in sort of a slow recovery from depression and all sorts of stuff was going on, and we were massively in debt and had all the normal kinds of real-world sort of stuff going on. And I wrote this very, very silly story, and it was very nice that it got taken on, but it wasn't exactly instant riches or give up the day job or anything.
No, I can imagine. But I was sat in my garden in the sunshine today reading it, and it made me chuckle a lot. Also, I've got to thank you for writing A Boy Called Christmas, because I have two young children, 6 and 4, two lads, and we read it over Christmas, and this is going to sound like I'm blowing smoke up the proverbial, but I genuinely believe, and maybe you know this, I genuinely believe you've written a classic. Do you know what I mean by that?
I don't know. It's nice to hear it, though, Ian.
Do you feel that? To me, it feels like a book that was written, 20 years ago or 30. It feels timeless, and it feels like a classic, and it feels like a book that I'm going to be getting out every year for the next 10 years, probably, to read to the boys.
Oh, that's very nice to hear, especially as I'm in the middle of editing the second one, the sequel to that. So I need that feel. But no, I all I know is I enjoyed writing that more than I've enjoyed writing any other thing I've ever written, I think.
Yeah.
It was just so nice. Especially, I've just written this very heavy autobiographical book about depression and dark grown-up stuff. And just to be able to escape into Christmas, even though I was writing it in the middle of the year, it was just so... Yeah, it was just like being 8 again.
And it's got the best elements of the best kids' books in that it is quite dark and quite nasty.
Yeah, I think you have to have that.
You do.
That was me aiming for sweets, but yes, I know. There's death and it's a sort of balance. There's some reindeer poo.
But kids love that. Kids love the Roald Dahl books are horrible, but they're gripping.
Yes, and the evil characters are the most fun to write as well.
Yeah.
Because often in a sort of grown-up novel you have to have some sort of subtlety and contradiction in a character, but with kids' books you can just go downright nasty. You don't have to have why were they nasty.
Yeah.
You can just have a very evil aunt who just is an evil aunt, and that's fun.
It must have been a thrill because I saw on Twitter loads of kids dressed up as characters from it for World Book Day.
Yeah, that was nice. That was especially as World Book Day is nowhere near Christmas, so it was quite good. I mean, that's the weird thing writing about a Christmas book. It's sort of like goes quiet for the rest of the year, so it was quite nice to see that popping up. That was one of the joys of Twitter. I feel like I was a bit too pessimistic about Twitter earlier. Yeah, that was quite nice.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
The book that I think has perhaps, well, I don't know if it has, you can correct me if not, but it seems to have got you the most attention recently is The Reasons to Stay Alive.
Yes.
Which is it's weird because you can read it in a day, and it's not it's not a self-help book as such. It's kind of your account of having crippling depression and wanting to kill yourself. If it's not, there's a bit where you're standing on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When I first became ill, I was in a very terrible state, and I wrote this book not as someone having all the answers. You know, I go through bouts of anxiety and depression, you know, at various points. I've probably had about 20 bouts of anxiety and depression in my life, and I'm not in some perfect place. I'm a lot better than I used to be. But you know, I just wanted to write a book that was slightly optimistic about it, you know, because if you're suffering from depression, you're getting a very, very negative outlook on life, which is wrong a lot of the time. You know, the thoughts you're having. So I wanted to try and cut through that and say, yes, depression is this miserable, appalling sort of 24-hour thing that, you know, 24/7, horrible thing. But actually, to try and separate yourself from the illness, you know, and try and find some words that could have got to me at 24 when I was in Spain, when I was on, you know, a cliff top, very nearly took my own life. And just what, I don't know if it would have worked, but just to try and see if there were any words that you could say to someone in that state. That was the first reason for writing. The second one was, you know, I just want people to understand what these invisible things feel like, because I think it actually helps people to be there for people if they actually know a little bit about what it's like.
Yeah, because you know, someone who suffers from depression, it's hard for me. But I'm also acutely aware, perhaps over-acutely aware, that it's really tough for the people around me because they don't know what to do, and sometimes there is the attitude, oh, for goodness sakes, come on, just get up. But they don't know how to. It's not obvious, like someone's got a broken leg, or you know, someone's had chemo or something. It's not an obvious thing. You can look fine, but what is it? How you describe it? Your head's on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can have very physical symptoms with it. I think one of the things I want to sort of like try and would love society to get to a point where we can talk about mental health in exactly the same way we talk about physical health, and actually to see it as part of the same thing. It's all health, and you know, like physical illnesses can have mental effects. You can, if you've got a very high fever, you can be, you know, tripping and hallucinating and all of that. And a lot of the symptoms, because anxiety is my main thing. I mean, depression is part of that as well. But, you know, like something like anxiety, you know, so many of the symptoms are below the neck symptoms. You know, heart palpitations, sweating, lethargy, aching limbs, all of that. So, yeah, I think we've kind of got the wrong view where we see sort of mental health as this other thing, this other sort of scary sphere, and it's all integrated. It's all health.
Yeah, it's going back to something you said earlier on. Your head lies to you, you know. And I've been suicidal, and it's weird when I say suicidal. I don't mean I'm sat there with a bottle of pills or you know razor blades or something, going I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's more of a belief that everything would be better if I didn't exist. And that I simply want to disappear and not be anymore.
Yes. And with me, what happened with me is I just felt trapped. And also, I think what's particularly dangerous is the first time people experience this, because it doesn't. The symptoms don't get particularly any better if you're having depression at whatever stage you are in life. But the very first time, when you don't even know what it is, you haven't necessarily had it diagnosed. I think that's the very scary, dangerous thing. And it certainly was in my case, because I just thought, oh no, this is my life. I'm going to be stuck in this moment forever. And, you know, I was 24 then, so I saw this sort of long life ahead of me, feeling utterly terrible, and I thought, oh my goodness, I can't do this, I've got to end it. You know, it wasn't that the fear of death was any less, it's just that life is suddenly this terrible thing. But obviously, even if you are a depressive kind of person, you don't stay at that state.
Yeah.
You don't stay at the very bottom of the valley the whole time. And it can very often be quite hard to hold on. But, you know, the point of Reason to Stay Alive is just to try and see that sort of bigger perspective.
How did you cope with, I wrote a blog, right, maybe about 6 months before your book came out, about my depression. And when I write a blog, it gets about 600-700 hits. I got about 30,000 hits in 3 days. Yeah. And I had 250 emails from people saying, thank you so much, my son killed himself. Or my wife suffers from this and I don't know what to do. Or I've lost jobs from this. I had 250 emails and I had, like, Jeremy Vine show wanted me to go on and stuff like that. And I kind of backed down. And I was literally overwhelmed by the emails I was getting. And I made a conscious decision. I can't reply to all of these because it's gonna drive me nuts. You know, I'm gonna get pulled down. I imagine you had that on a much, much bigger scale. Did you? And how did you deal with that?
I did. And I dealt with it by writing a Christmas book.
There we go. Fantastic.
But I literally, honestly, that is true with Voice.
Brilliant.
I was thinking, what is the book that's least like a book about depression and a 24-year-old on the top of a cliff? I thought, I'm going to write about the North Pole. I'm going to write about owls and Father Christmas. Because, yeah, you're right. It totally, you need to, I couldn't be total, this is total annoying name drop here, but Stephen Fry, when because he had emailed me about the book and everything, and he'd sort of slightly warned me about, becoming Mr. Depression. Yeah. Because he's obviously become Mr. Depression in some ways. But, to just be known for your illness or to the sort of darkest period of your life, is probably not that healthy, is it? So, I don't know. I don't honestly know. I think there are times when it's nice, when people are saying, oh, you've really helped me, and, it's given me perspective, and that's obviously nice. But yes, just hearing about human misery all the time in your inbox isn't good. So you can, I'm probably not going to do Reasons to Stay Alive 2 for that reason. It was definitely a one-off kind of thing.
I'm gonna tweet a link to it on Amazon. Matt Haig 1, MATTHAIG 1 is the Twitter if you want to follow him. Matt, honestly, thank you for that. Thank you for the humans. Thank you for all of it. And Boy Called Christmas, you've made my kids laugh so much. So thank you so much for that.
And thank you for the way you just conducted yourself this year, and also for being so open about your own troubles and stuff. And I think I'm glad you found a great new home.
Thank you, mate. Nice to talk to you, Matt. Take care.
Cheers, Ian.
Thank you very much indeed. I'll tweet a link to Reasons to Stay Alive in a second, at Iain Lee if you want to follow me. And also, A Boy Called Christmas. It's just, you read it to your girls, didn't you, Kath? Don't worry, we haven't got time. It's just a joy. I was sending it to my family. I sent it to the kids in New Zealand. It's just a joy. And it's dark. It's kind of dark and it's naughty and it's scary and it's the perfect book for kids. That's Matt Haig. Right. Calls straight to air after we get a bit of this.
Talk Radio.
I keep forgetting that fella at the end. I've just tweeted at Iain Lee the link to buy Reasons to Stay Alive. Go and check out Matt's other books as well, because he's flipping brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. I tell you what we'll do for the last hour of the show. We'll invite Kath into the studio. We'll have a look at the papers, and we will take your calls straight to air. 0844 499 1000. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. This is the news. Oh, I ran out of the studio for the first time since being at Talk Radio for a wee. The new, I'm used, Id, to where I come from, the BBC. We'd have much longer news breaks. The news breaks could last up to 4 minutes.
I thought you were about to say there'd be a toilet closer to the studio.
I would think. You'd think they'd have a potty in the corner. And that was like a minute and 40 seconds, and I managed to dash. Thing is, who's the fella who's on Talk Sport right now?
To be honest, I have no idea.
No, nor have I. Chances. But I was in there having a wee, and I heard him slagging me off. He was slagging me off. And I went, "Oi! I can hear you." And he went, "Oh, sorry." I don't think he was being sorry, but
you mean he was doing it on the radio or in the cubicle next to you?
Outside the toilet. outside the toilet of all places. It was outrageous behaviour. Andy Goldstein, that's who it was. Andy Goldstein. Slagging me off. Well, right. At some point we're going to steam into his radio show and, I don't know, tie him to the chair or something. And
You can't run out of the studio at a minute past midnight to go to a toilet break.
I tell you what I'm going to give him. Oh, no, hang on. Turn my computer up. We're going to give him... It's on. You're right. So I keep saying that. It's always me.
Stop trying to blame me, Ian.
I'm those presenters that I like to... If I'm doing wrong things, I like to blame it on the team, OK? And I will shout, sit down. OK. Thank you.
I've got a mouthful of sausage.
That's what Goldstein's going to get. Whether he likes it or not, sir. Iain Lee, Talk Radio. We'll take your calls straight to air now. Do you know what? Thank you. We've had more calls. Bank holidays, Good Fridays and bank holidays, always tough for a gig for a phone-in. My first ever... it wasn't quite my first ever. My first ever gig at LBC as a permanent presenter, when I wasn't just filling in for someone, was... it was me and a producer called Chris, who'd never produced before. It was Christmas Eve going into Christmas Day, 10 o'clock at night till 1 in the morning. So it was this slot on Christmas Eve. My first gig as a phone-in presenter. I'd only have done music radio before, or TV, which is a piece of cake. It's TV, you're just reading it off a screen. Anyone could do that, and they pay you a lot more. And in that 3-hour show, I think we had 5 calls. And we had no guests, no content. Neither of us knew what the hell we were doing, and we got through it. And I think if you can get through 3 hours on Christmas Eve with 5 calls, you can do anything. 0844, don't say double. 0844 499 1000. We'll take your call straight to air. Line 6, you're on the wireless.
Hello, Ian. Literally a very quick message for you. I just wanted to say it's so wonderful to have you back on the radio. And with all the regulars calling you up again, it just shows how much you're loved and how they follow you wherever you go. So, great to have you back. Nice one, mate.
Thank you very much indeed. There we go. You creep, you creep. I don't know how to take compliments very well. I'm learning how to take compliments. And it turns out all you have to do is, because I have such low self-esteem, people say compliments, I'm thinking, what the hell do they want? Turns out all you have to do is go, thanks. And that's it. That's it. And it's really easy. And it's taken me, over 40 years to learn. All you do is go, thanks. Thanks very much. That's all you need to do. And it works. But yeah, Good Fridays and bank holidays are notoriously bad for phone-in shows. And it goes really quiet, and you tend to get much older callers. I don't know why. It always tends to be much older callers. But we've had a cracking load of calls today, so thank you, team. And thank you. This is I don't want to blow my own trumpet.
I don't want to blow my own trumpet because I haven't got one.
Yeah, exactly. But... this is the most phoned-in show. Is that correct English? This is the most phoned-in show. Yeah, on Talk Radio. That could mean that I'm not really giving it my all. I'm phoning in my performance. Au contraire. Au contraire. Yes, line 2.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the radio. Turn the radio. There we go. Here come the old callers I mentioned. Yes, line 2.
Yeah, I'm one of the old callers.
Oh, Dennis, you're not going to get that tenner off me.
You better start saving for it now, brother. I haven't got long to go.
Yeah, I know exactly. When is your, was it 92nd birthday? When is it?
It's the 91st, and it'll be 29th of May.
Oh, mate, we're still in March. We got over 2 months. You're never going to make it.
Listen, I'll be running the marathon before then.
You can't run a bath.
You'd be surprised. Walking stick marathon.
The walking stick marathons. You all right, Den?
You keep me alive.
No, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Calls cost 7 pence per minute plus your provider's access charge. If I see you up on the screen, I will try to get to you as quickly as possible. There's the Sun. Well, this is in quite a few newspapers, and it's kind of a real duh story. You don't say. Smoking cannabis can cause a lack of ambition. You don't say, really? The ambition caused by smoking cannabis is to eat and smoke more cannabis. It causes a lack of ambition and it can hamper job prospects. Of course it does. It can also be fun, all right? I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, yeah, taking drugs is really bad, man, and I don't think anyone should... Listen, I went to college in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. You don't know what I'm saying? Good. I'm glad you don't. All right, I've had a joint before in the past. Okay, guys? Okay? Happy now? Happy now? You've got me to confess to that. Are you happy, line 2? You've got me to confess to my drug usage?
Iain. I wanted to say, please don't hate yourself. Please don't do that. I'm being serious a little bit because I've got a friend of mine who went to Beachy Head and he actually called me. He didn't say anything the first day that he was there. I knew it was him. And then on the second day, then his wife, explained everything to me. On the second day, he just he did it. He jumped.
Oh, really?
He did. Yes.
When was this, Katya?
That was last year.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm not an angry person. I've never been an angry person. And it kind of made me angry because he couldn't see what a wonderful person he was.
Isn't it interesting? I had a friend a while ago who, 2 of her friends actually killed themselves. It was in the papers, actually. It was horrible. And she was angry. She was really angry that they hadn't asked for help or that they had been unable to ask for help. You know, all of these things. And it's not an emotion that I think a lot of people would necessarily associate with someone whose friend has killed themselves. But I can understand why you would feel that.
Yeah, I was, how can I explain? I was, of course, I wasn't angry because, yes, it's so complicated. Sadness is an understatement, obviously. Yeah. But, I wish you could have seen how much we miss him so much. You see, that's the thing. And he thought that we would be better off without him. Oh, God, it's just not true, So that's, I hate it when I hear you say that you hate yourself, you see. So I'm just, being serious, but sorry.
No, don't listen, don't apologise. But I'm all right at this precise second in time, so don't it's all good. And I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
But also, you saying that doesn't mean anything to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Completely. Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Because it's nuts. Because it's literally insane. It's it's our heads lie to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. The people around you, they wish they could do something, but we just can't. It's a terrible thing. We wish we could, but we can't. We are like we have no power over that.
I'm really sorry for your loss, Katya. It sucks, doesn't it? It sucks.
It sucks. Big time, definitely.
Would it?
But yeah.
Would it cheer you up if I cut you off? There we go. Is that cold?
No, that's fine. There's another one there.
The thing is, right, Katya has been calling me for about 12 years. There will be people listening for the first time going, I cannot believe he cut that young lady off after she was so open and honest. So I'm going to make myself laugh at how cruel that was.
So mean, Iain.
That was horrible. Line 3, you're on the wireless.
Hey, Iain, it's Carpet Martin.
Hey, Carpet Martin, how you doing, buddy? You all right?
I am very well, thank you, buddy. I'm very well. I really wanted to speak to Katya, though, because I don't want to come over all buzzkill, but I've experienced suicide in the family, and, I just wanted to tell her that you can't be mad, you can't be angry. It's all good. It is a thing that happens. It's an illness, and it takes over, and that's it.
Yeah, I know. I cut her off because I was feeling mean-spirited. But then and it's made me laugh, and I'm sure it's made her laugh as well before everyone starts having a pop at me on Twitter. But here's what I'm learning about feelings is you can't control them, really. You can gently nudge them in one direction or another. You can gently nudge them, and sometimes that nudge is more effective than others, and you can do things that make you feel better and make you feel good. But her friend took their life, and that happened because they were in so much pain. And Katia is feeling angry and upset, and that happens because that's the kind of the consequence of that. And I don't sound like a right old head. It's all groovy, man. Is it about I don't mean
you're right. Do you know what? I've just rang up and told somebody how to feel, and that's a terrible thing.
But that's not me criticising you. That's not me criticising you. But it's you know that because I wouldn't. What I'm trying to do, a real thing I'm trying to do with this show, Carpet Martin, right, is, and I got it a bit towards in the other show, but I'm really trying not to be snarky. My default setting is to laugh and point the finger and be a bit snarky about people and things.
Well, don't stop that, brother.
Well, I'm starting it with you. I'm starting it with you, buddy. You're the first one. No.
Easy.
And I'm really... I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about what I want this show to be and how I want it to be and how I want to be on here, right? And it's partly because of, there's been an idiot on Twitter with me. And I'm just thinking, I just want this show...
Name and shame.
No. No, but I've blocked them a couple of times. Well, this is it. And I will, and I have been a little bit snarky on this show, and I will be snarky again, but I'm really trying to be, oh God, I'm such an old hippie, more loving, man. And I still think you can be funny and get laughs, but without the snarkiness. If someone's a complete bell cheese, then I'll say that. But I'm not explaining myself very well, my Carpet Man. I've got to go to a break.
No, actually, do you know? I think you are explaining yourself well. I think you're absolutely nailing it.
I'm not quite. It was more. I'm going to go because I've got to go to a break, and I'm still learning what time the breaks are here. It was more crystallised in my head yesterday. Maybe I should have written it down. Let me have a think. 0844 499 1000. Speak to you after this. So, smoking cannabis can cause a lack of ambition and hamper job prospects. Well, if you're massively stoned all the time, fine. If you're just listening, rolling a fat one and listening to the Beatles. I'm trying to think of a modern kind of stoner music, and I can't think of any. Then that's fine. I'm not one of these. All drugs. If you've got drugs on you, you should be shot. No, not at all. Some of the... Here's the thing, right? Some of the best music in the world has been made on drugs. Revolver, anybody? Huh? Rumours? Revolver is an LSD album. Rumours is a cocaine album. And that's all I can think of at the moment. People using the drug 4 or more times a week often ended up in a lower social class than their parents. Cannabis dependence was worse than alcohol dependence. I don't know what that means. Well, I do know what that means, but the sentence continues, and I read the sentence ahead in my head, and I didn't understand it, so I aborted the sentence. 0844 499 1000, taking calls straight to air. Line 1, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, it's Vicky. I just listened to your call with Katia, and I wanted to say something to you. I didn't intend on calling in because it cost too much money. Yeah. But I wanted to say these compliments may mean nothing to you now, but when you find a treatment that works for you and your mood lifts, and you look back on what everybody has written, it will lift you up higher. It will increase your self-esteem. It might not be doing it now, but it will do it eventually.
It might do.
I think it will.
Well, it might do.
I used to work in a unit specifically for resistive depression.
Yeah.
And I worked with some of the most depressed people in the country. And I can assure you, there comes a point, there's a tipping point. You'll get there. You will get there.
Well, it has to go one way or the other, really.
Yeah.
It has to get better, or...
If you get the right treatment...
Yeah.
It changes. But I mean, I worked with people who'd been depressed continually for 10 years. They came onto our unit. It took us about 18 months to get them well, but we got them well. So there is treatments out there that work, that will make the difference eventually. I'm not just saying this for you, I'm saying this for anyone else.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's a general statement. Hopefully. Because for some people it doesn't work.
It will.
Well, but some people it doesn't work, and they either continue being miserable or they do kill themselves. People, suicide is the biggest killer of young men in this country.
Definitely. It's more of a worry for men than it is for women. But can I just say, when you were in your previous carnations, when I was known as a rather common person.
Yes.
You didn't know this about me, but I suffered with a really severe that's the wrong word. I had a breakdown where I suffered from severe anxiety. Put me in not psychiatric hospital, but it put me in hospital because it physically played such havoc with my body. And it's done it more than once.
Yeah.
And I found something that works for me. I take it when I need it, and I got lots of CBT, and it works a treat. And I've had anxiety since I was about 11 years old.
Here's my problem with CBT. It stands for cognitive behavioural therapy.
Yeah.
It also stands for something else, rude.
I really want to know what that is.
And I cannot say what it is because it's so rude, but it really does. Don't Google it. Not NSFW. NSFW. I didn't know what NSFW means. You know what it means, Id?
Yeah, not safe for work.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I opened an email.
At work?
Yes! that was unsafe for work, it turns out. It said in the thing, this is funny, but NSFW. I thought, brilliant. Was that? Oh, brilliant. And it was awful. And I was at work.
So now you don't open those emails at work, or
no? It was on a BBC computer, so they're full of that stuff over there.
Okay.
I was using an old DJs from the 70s, so they're full of that stuff over there. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Hey, there's been like a huge terrorist attack recently. Remember this huge terrorist attack? There's a lot going on in Europe at the moment. Massive attack. The huge terrorist, I'm talking about the band, the huge terrorist attack. And we may or may not be remaining in Europe. You know about these things,
yeah?
Okay.
I keep up to date.
Why the hell is David Cameron on a holiday in Lanzarote then? What the hell is going on? Is it Lanzarote? I think he's on his own. Now listen, right? I'm not one of these people that thinks MPs should never go on holiday and they should always stay at home. But I kind of think, when there's like some quite serious shizzle going down, that maybe the Prime Minister should be more visible in this country than he is in a buffet in a hotel in Lanzarote. It just seems absolutely ridiculous to me. Line 1, you're on the wireless.
What's your Ian? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, yes.
Yeah, it's Paul here. How you doing? Wilson's dad, so the father of Broken Britain.
Oh, you weren't listening to Johnny Gould and Ash before my show started, were you?
I think I might be now.
Oh, no. You didn't listen to the last 5 minutes of the show?
No.
Beautiful. Good. Well, nothing happened. Nothing. No one mentioned Wilson, so that's fine. So
good. A point that's been missed in the debate so far.
Oh, yes, 5 points. Yeah, go on.
I don't have a point, but I just wanted to say it. Right, laser discs.
Yes. Well, no one's called in saying they use their... This is the thing, I come up with these topics because I worry that no one will call in, but then everyone calls up about everything apart from the topics. So we were talking about if people still use their VHS recorders. Yeah. I've got a VHS recorder upstairs in my office, and I use it to convert video to digital, but I don't tape EastEnders on it no more. Have you got a laser disc?
I've got VHS. Can you still call them ghetto blasters? Don't know.
Isn't that funny? Because I had the same thought the other day. Right, this is such a white middle class worry. Is it racist to call a cassette deck that is portable a ghetto blaster?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's probably.
I'm a remnant from the past. But no, laser display. Yeah, I have a laser display, and it's set up
in my living room.
As far as I can
much to
remember,
consternation of my wife.
the only movie that was available on Laserdisc was the Muppet movie.
Oh, then there's right. If I explain it this way, but I'm a bit worried that I'm going to tell you this because it might encourage you.
Yeah.
But it does the same for film as vinyl does for music. So it's
better. It's better quality.
Tangibility.
Wow.
It's just tangibility. So for example, you've got the definitive Star Wars box set is the one that they use to make the Blu-rays of.
Wow.
It's the one. It's the version of Star Wars before they started monkeying about with it.
It's the one without the CGI.
Yeah, none of that Jedi rocks and all of that rubbish. But but then Blade Runner, everything. You know, it's even got 40 towers on it. I don't know why. I've got 40 towers 100 times. And they are Laserdiscs are awesome. Like literally right now, just flicking through them. And they're.
How much could I get a Laserdisc for on eBay? Do you reckon?
Or I got a player and of some bloke who used to be an audio visual and about 80 movies for about 160 quid.
Oh, right, mate, I'm going to move on because I've got that. I'm getting one. This is the thing, right? I have these ridiculous ideas. I think, like, every 6-7 years, I think, I really fancy a CB radio. So I buy one and I buy a rig, and there was no one using it, 15 years ago. There's no one using it now. But in fact, now I've talked about CB radios, I'm probably going to buy a CB radio just in case. Line 3, you're on the wireless. Turn your radio off, you plum.
There was no one using it.
Hello?
Hello, Ian.
Yes, who's that?
How you doing? It's Neil from Coatbridge.
Hello, mate, how you doing?
Not bad, how you doing yourself?
Okay, what have you got for us?
It's good to hear back on radio again.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's good. It's good to. I feel like I'm at home here at Talk Radio. I'm loving it.
Definitely. What's happened to Andre and Vinny?
Vinny's odd. For those who don't know, these are people who used to call me in another life. Andre, as far as I'm aware, got sober. I've been told.
You're joking?
No, I believe so. Vinny sends me abuse on Facebook from time to time. I'm surprised she's not called in.
I'm sure she will.
Let's keep our fingers crossed, huh?
Yeah. What happened to down the rabbit hole tonight?
Say that again.
Down the rabbit hole was happened about tonight.
Do you know, I'm really struggling to hear you, and I'll tell you why. These headphones, and I meant to bring in some other headphones that I nicked from elsewhere. These headphones are really, they're quite echoey. Are you on speakerphone?
No, I'm not.
Right, go on, try it again.
I'm saying down the rabbit hole, what happened to that?
Oh, down the rabbit hole. Yeah, okay. Again, down the rabbit hole was kind of another show that we did, and I was kind of thinking of doing this on Fridays. That was always my plan coming here, that Fridays would be down the rabbit hole. But it just, I'm not sure how we would do it, because it seems that the last hour of the show has kind of been a bit like down the rabbit hole, in that we're taking calls straight to air and it's a little bit more relaxed than other bits and pieces. But the enemy's out here. Look, the Talk Sport lot have come in to see how a radio show is done. All right. So we will see. We'll see. It might happen. It might happen at some point. 0844 499 1000. You're distracting my technical operator who's about to go to an ad break. So, there's been a massive terrorist attack. We may or may not be leaving Europe. And David Cameron's in Lanzarote. On his own. It's the weirdest thing. Loads of people tweeting, why is David Cameron in my hotel?
I read somewhere that the holiday's been pre-booked, but he went up a day early so he could have some time to think. Some time to think. I don't know what he's thinking about, but he just wanted a day to think at the buffet.
But even if that is, and it's him at a buffet at what looks like, an okay hotel, a hotel that I would consider quite nice. But he's the Prime Minister. He should be staying. Who owns Lanzarote? Is it Italy, Germany?
I don't know.
Someone must own it. Or is Lanzarote a country or an island?
I don't know. I failed social studies at school.
What social studies?
Geography.
You must have failed all of your lessons if you don't even know what they're called.
Social studies back in New Zealand.
Line 1.
Hello.
Who owns Lanzarote for 5 points?
Mike Ashley.
Okay, that's. I don't know who that is. Is that a sports singer?
He He owns the Newcastle team, the Sports Direct.
Have you been smoking a little bit of the ganja? Have you been smoking a bit of ganja? A little bit of weed?
Can I just say...
Hang on. Oh, yeah, some of that is. Don't bogart that joint, boy.
On behalf of everyone who's listened this week and the reduced productivity that we've all suffered from having to stop up to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the nice bit.
Right, so...
And now can we get to the bit where you're rude about me?
Yeah, certainly. Is Kath in the studio?
No, she's not, I'm afraid.
Oh.
What was that?
Who's the other fella?
Id.
Who's the other fella?
Do you want Id?
Id.
Hi.
Right. So, quick experiment. Ian, you were saying you struggle with compliments?
Yes.
So what I'll do is, Id, I'll give you some compliments, and Ian, in your head, you can try and think, right, okay, how would I respond to that? Because I guess, Id, you're okay with compliments?
I'm perfectly fine with compliments.
He doesn't get many here.
Yeah. I'm very talented, you know. So, Id, if I said to you, these were based for Catherine, but they'll still work. And Ian, you can just think, would I have said the same? Okay, Id.
Hi.
I think you're a great producer and call screener.
Oh, thank you very much.
See? That's it, Ian. That's one. Okay, number two. Id, if I was having a fantasy dinner party, I'd invite Albert Einstein, Margaret Thatcher, and yourself.
What's on the menu?
Oh.
No, you're supposed to ask for the compliment.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for the compliment. What's on the menu?
Oh, whatever you fancy, because you're so fantastic.
That's kind of backfired a bit, hasn't it, Rob?
Yeah, he's ruined this. Kath would have nailed this.
Okay,
so
sorry,
the final one...
Yeah, here we go. There comes the final one. Here comes the Iron Fist in the velvet glove. Yes.
Here you go. Id.
Hi.
I'd pay £8 if you were on an adult paywall. Right. No more.
No more. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for your £8.
You'd what? You'd pay £8 to see Id pleasure himself
in his undies.
Wow.
In his undies dancing.
Okay.
The Talk Sport, I love that. It was meant for Kath, I'm going to be honest.
Should I cut you off now?
Right.
There we go. He's gone.
Only £8, not 10.
Oh man, I'm tired. Line 2, you're on the wireless.
I'm tired as well. Why should we have Cameron in the country? What difference would it make?
No, but he's what is he now?
He's not very popular.
Well, he's the Prime Minister.
Yeah, well, it doesn't do anything, does it?
David Cameron stunned Brits enjoying some Easter sun in... Who owns Lanzarote?
Don't they make Ferraris? Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, no.
What?
That would have been a good joke as well, wouldn't it?
Well, what if there was some funny words involved in it? Yeah, it would have been an excellent joke.
I know, it's been a long day. I've had the kid down the fairground, you know, I'm just very tired.
Who owns the Canary Islands?
Mike Ashley.
David Cameron stunned Brits enjoying some Easter sun in Lanzarote yesterday as he turned up at the hotel buffet. Buffet. He took an early EasyJet flight. Oh, 5-star resort. Don't look 5-star. After one of the toughest weeks of his premiership. I didn't know he played football. But there was no escaping the spotlight after one Canary Island sunseeker tweeted, "Why is David Cameron in my hotel?" Tourists who met Mr. Cameron, who was wearing an all-inclusive wristband, claimed he
had... Is that like an all-in-one? He's just entirely covered from head to toe in a wristband.
No, it means that he can go to the buffet, as many times as he wants.
Buffet.
It claimed
what do you think he'd eat at the buffet?
Well, I'm not sure. Let's see if it says what he ate. It says he only had limited banter.
Oh, he couldn't be on TalkSport then, could he? That's all banter.
Stop slagging off TalkSport. Someone from TalkSport is...
TalkSport.
No, don't. Someone from TalkSport is in the studio, and it's going to sound like we've been slagging them off all night, and literally this is the first time we've mentioned it. So just stop it.
So I shouldn't go TalkSport.
No, don't do that. Why would you do that? We haven't mentioned them once at all since I've started this show on Monday. And the moment that someone very, very important from TalkSport comes in, sits in the studio, you start slagging them off.
I'm not slagging them off. I've got
to work in the tiny broom cupboard that they call our office. And I have to walk through all of the TalkSport boys to get to that office, and it's like being back at school, man. It's horrible because I'm.
But you only have to put up with that for what, another 1,050 days, something like that.
I'll get the boot again. I'll get the boot. There's so much testosterone in there. I feel I need to wipe myself down after walking in there. Anyway, what'd you call in for?
Just to insult David Cameron.
Well, lovely. Thank you very much indeed. You did an excellent job. Former Scotland rugby player Big Jim Hamilton said he discussed the weather with him. Why would you say it was what are you doing here, man? There's quite a lot going on at home. Oh, here we go. And this is the story, Ed. This is the story. I found it.
Okay.
Found it. It's like paragraph 8.
Hidden down there.
Hidden down here. I knew there was I was angry and I couldn't think why I was angry, and I found the reason why I'm angry. It's here. The PM's decision to jet off to the resort of Playa Blanco came under fire as only weeks ago he called for Brits to spend Easter in parts of Britain ravaged by floods to help locals.
Spain. That's who owns it.
Thank you.
It's Playa Blanca.
How about that?
White Beach.
How about that?
Oh, just the one?
Got 2.
Wow.
I knew it. He has been telling everyone to go on holiday in Britain where it's been flooded. Why would you want to?
You might like the water.
You might want
Lake District's nice.
You might want to break in some new wellies.
You might.
I've got 2 pairs of wellies now.
Have you, posh?
Yep.
Are some for taking the dog out for a walk? Have you got special dog wellies? You have, haven't you? You've changed.
Lib Dem boss. Who's the boss of the Lib Dems?
The boss of the Lib Dems is...
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that... Because before it was Cleggy, right? And we all used to love Cleggy.
And there aren't that many, and I can't think of one.
OK, well, I'm not going to tell you.
Is it...
You won't guess.
Oh. Is he called Mark?
No.
Steve?
No. It's a name like that.
Bob?
No.
Mike?
This is the leader of
Gareth.
The fifth, probably the 6th party. Tim Farron.
Tim.
Lib Dem boss Tim Farron, whose seat in Westmoreland, Cumbria, was hit, said, "So while the PM ignores his own comments, I'm saying the North is open for business."
And I speak for everybody.
I urge people to visit.
Yeah.
For everyone else, he gets a dig in. 0844 499 1000, by the way. He gets a dig in. For everyone else, the bonus is you seem guaranteed not to bump into David Cameron.
Saucer and milk table 3.
Yeah. Number 10 refused to discuss the trip, which came as Ukrainian millionaire Tory donor Alexander Temerko called for Boris Johnson. Flipping it.
Number 10 refused to discuss the trip because the phone was just ringing out. There's no one there. We're all living it up.
Oh, dearie me. Have you done the podcast now?
I'm just going to
hold... for crying out loud.
I'm just going to hold off for a bit, right? Mostly because I don't want the boss to know that I'm finishing it early and then, ducking off home. Also, I said ducking. And also, I want Id to just double-check it for me because I'm not to be
I'm shooting
upon.
off straight after the show. I've got the kids tomorrow. Sleep is at a premium.
It's fine. I literally just have to press go.
Have we got any food in here?
No.
I'm starving. 0844 499 1000. No needles for bad back. Now, this is the thing, right? What are you doing?
Oh, I've got a stiff back.
You got a stiff back? Well, this is what you don't need.
Needles.
Acupuncture.
Oh, well, I knew that. Who's telling me that?
I've had acupuncture once, right? Because I wanted to try, and I don't get it soft now, but I used to get a bad back, and I used to get really bad headaches, and I would go and see a bloke called Brian. What was his job? He was an osteopath. That was what he did, and he'd give me a good click. Here we go. Here's one.
Oh, that's horrible.
Hang on, there's another one.
Can you...
Do you want to hear my toes? Look.
No, I don't.
Come here. These are the toes of the right foot.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. These are the toes of the left foot.
Aye.
There we go. These are the thumbs.
Could you do that before, Brian, or did Brian do that?
No. My first girlfriend taught me how to click my fingers. Thank you.
It's a skill.
Yeah. She was very experienced. In that one.
The old joints.
And that as well. We were young. So Brian was an osteopath.
He would manipulate you.
I'll tell you after this.
Okay.
0844 499 1000. There'll be a best of podcast after this. We have now. I don't know. Are we allowed to mention? You're not supposed to be here. I can't mention you're here. Because you're on air on the other station.
No,
at the
he's not.
moment.
He's finished.
No, he's got a pre-rec going. It's pre-recorded.
Oh, you're so cheeky. Nice one.
You told me to move my car when there was plenty of room to get your car through that gap.
It's payback time.
It's payback time. There was plenty of room for a skilled driver to... I got hauled into the TalkSport office, Catherine. You see, I got hauled.
Scruff your neck.
I was hauled and thrown onto the floor, and I was circled by a group of men.
Move your car!
Yeah.
Move your car!
One guy urinated on me like in The Shogun.
He urinated on you?
Like in The Shogun.
Nasty.
Like that guy did to Richard Chamberlain in The Shogun.
Richard Chamberlain used to be so beautiful, didn't he?
Yes, and...
totally barking up the wrong tree, wasn't he?
He's still alive.
Yeah, but he's old. And now not attractive to me.
No, well, and you were never attractive to him.
I
Partly
know.
because of your haggard face, but primarily because he's a homosexual.
I know, but, the Thornbirds, that was an awakening for me.
Well, yeah. Anyway.
I used to play that with my Barbies. Very rude.
Line 1, you're on the wireless.
Yes. Hello.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, acupuncture, right?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that. I knew there was something. I was desperately swimming to try and get to.
I had it done on the Isle of Wight. I was a bit worried about this. My wife persuaded me to go. And when I'd had it, she bought me a pair of underpants, which says, don't worry, you'll only feel a little prick.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis, thank you.
He's 91 years old.
If anybody is going to get us taken off the air. Loads of people on Twitter going...
Spain.
So Grace Dent is going, Spain owns Lanzarote FFS. And I've Googled FFS, and it turns out it's very, very rude.
For flip's sake.
Paul and Kelly are saying it. I didn't know these things. I don't know. All right, who owns the Canary Islands?
Spain. Next question.
What don't those Spanish own? What don't they own?
Not me anymore.
You managed to escape.
Did.
So I was surrounded by all of the talk sport presenters.
Yeah, they're chanting and circling.
Cundy, the two shouty men who go on late at night.
The mics.
That was it. And one of them urinated me like they did on the Richard Chamberlain.
What, one of the mics?
Yes. And move your car. Move your car. Move your car, you posh talk radio boy. And I went, but there's room to get through!
They couldn't hear you over the chanting.
So I moved it, and someone had written on the back of my car, I wish my wife was as dirty as this. And I wrote, she is. So I win. Oh, no, hang on, it's my car. I lose. Anyway, acupuncture for lower back pain is no better than sham treatment, health chief said yesterday. Yeah, of course, because it doesn't work.
They stick them in and twang them, don't they?
They twang it. And do you know that they always say, oh, it doesn't hurt. It really hurts!
Listen, newsflash, someone sticking needles in you is going to hurt. Someone sticking needles in and twanging them, double hurts.
It hurts. It won't hurt. It really does hurt. And Brian, the osteopath, I'm going to go and see him because he's a nice guy. He said, one day, I've learnt acupuncture. I was like, all right.
Well, hang on.
He said, do you want to go? I said, not really.
He wants to practice.
He said, I've got a certificate. I said, I don't really fancy it. And I kept going. In the end, I said, oh, yeah, go on then. And he did it, and it flipping hurt me. And my back is getting tense even thinking about it.
Has he ever cupped you?
No.
Because I've seen that. It causes bruising, doesn't it?
No, I thought you meant, sorry. I always wear tight pants and a towel over my nether regions.
Okay, thanks for that image.
But the Chinese, right, and this is a little bit racist.
Oh. Right.
All of their medicine is rubbish, isn't it? There's the...
Well, not all of it, I'm sure some of it. The medical kind is good. Do you mean Chinese traditional herbal medicine?
I mean the acupuncture? Rubbish. The thing with the leaves and the twigs, and I've done that.
And the bark.
I've done that. I've gone to one of those Chinese doctor's surgeries. It's just a shop. Turns out they've just rented a shop. And I've gone in for a condition, which is personal. I won't go into it.
Is that cleared up? Yeah.
And they go through that. They open the drawers. They go, right, we want this bark. We want this leaves and a bit of this rubbish. And they put it in and they go, right, you boil it up and drink it. But this, yeah. And it's horrible and it doesn't cure you. So Chinese, no thank you. The food, yes. The medicine, sorry?
Why must every generation think the folks are square? And no matter where their heads are, they know that I remember when and you were strong with them, that I was smaller than. And now, hey, Pop, can I go ride my Zoom? It goes 200 miles an hour, and it's suspended on balloons. Can I put a little droplet of this new stuff on my tongue? And imagine puffing dragons while you sit and wreck your lungs. 'Cause we must be permissive, understanding of the younger generation.
There we go. That's very nice.
Ralph McTell.
This is Ralph McTell. I'm reminded of another film that was rubbish. Although, didn't it have Mama Cass in it? H.R. Puff and stuff.
Yes, it did.
I remember watching.
Different is good.
I remember watching it as a kid, and she turned. I'm sure there's a scene in it where she turned into a really sexy witch.
Oh.
With thigh-high boots. I remember watching it. I remember watching it. My dad used to work at BBC, and I went with him one Saturday to hang out. I was about 8, and it was on the telly, and I watched it, and that was a real moment in my life.
Where you thought this is rubbish?
No. When I thought, ooh,
what?
Sexy witches with boots.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So for me, it was the Thornbirds. For you, it was
H.R. Puff and stuff. We'll do that. That's Monday's show.
Your awakening.
What was your awakening? What was your awakening?
But the thing is, I didn't grow out of that wrong. I think I've got better at sensing it, but
I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry,
well, Richard Chamberlain was the first one, and then as a teenager, I was banging to Ricky Martin.
You were banging Ricky Martin?
Well, no. Turns out, again, tree.
He was living La Vida Loca.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, sufferers should do exercise as a first step in managing the condition and not rely solely on physio. And
but hang on, if your back's killing you, you're not going to want to jump up and down, are you?
NICE's Professor Mark Baker said acupuncture is not recommended as there is not enough evidence to show that it is more effective than sham treatment. It doesn't work. Treatments that don't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Acupuncture?
Reiki.
Oh, flip it, heck. I was into all that stuff when I was younger. When I was about, how old? About 19 or 20, I went on a crystal healing course. And what that meant was I went to some...
Let me guess, you and a load of old women. Tie-dye?
Every Thursday night, we'd meet at this old woman's house.
June?
Something like that. She was a white witch. And she would teach us crystals and all of that stuff. And what's the one where you can... There's a word for it. Where you
Divining.
No. It begins with a P. Someone tweet me. Why don't you tweet me, Grace? You seem to know who owns all of the islands. Name this word that begins with P. Where you hold something and you can you get the feel of it. You go, this was owned by a great king.
Bullshine. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Derek Acora does it, doesn't he? Oh, this watch used to belong to someone in the olden days.
Anyway, he was not Irish. Anyway, I went on this. I did this for 6 weeks. And
6 weeks.
Yeah, I went to this woman's house and we did auras. We did a thing where someone would stand there and would either project like "come to me" or "stay away from me," right? And you would. This actually works. This actually works. I
can do it.
No. And you would have your eyes closed and you would walk towards them and then you'd feel the message. You'd feel like, oh, stop. Or you'd feel, oh, come closer.
Gosh.
And then, well, okay, explain this. Every time we did it, we got it right. Explain it. I would stop and go, oh, you don't want me to come any closer? She'd go, yeah. Boom. Explain it.
Because you all wanted to believe in the power, and the person who was supposed to be sending the vibes just said yeah to whatever you said.
Thank you, Paul. Psychometry.
Yeah. I refer to my previous statement.
That stuff doesn't work, but the aura stuff does. Hey, okay. You saw the picture of David Letterman, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. Here's something.
It's like Father Christmas.
You watch kids' TV?
Yeah.
Right. For me, it's Nina and the Neurons,
and
it's Katie. I Can Cook.
All right.
Yeah, those two for me, it's like, oh yeah, I like kids' programmes.
All right.
I really like kids' programmes. Can we watch? We want to watch TV. Let's watch I Can Cook. I don't want to watch it now, Dad. We're 6 and 4. It's boring. I like it, even though I know she's had a baby.
I've got a soft spot for a couple of them in Horrible Histories.
Okay, Horrible Histories to one side. Who would you say is the fittest children's television presenter? Male. Just to
presenter.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Well, what else would it be?
Because then, yeah.
We finish at 1 o'clock.
Well, I'm just...
The two mics are getting ready to argue about...
I don't really fancy any of them.
Yes, you do.
Go on.
You fancy Mr. Bloom?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you
No,
do.
I don't. He looks like he needs a scrub.
He looks like a cross between Paul Weller and my mate Scott.
Does nothing for me.
The
Nothing.
fruit and veg man who sends mums bananas.
Not me.
He's been hailed. This is really inappropriate because Mr. Bloom is a gardener in kids' TV, right? And
Showing his
there's a
veg
picture of
there.
him surrounded by various kids, right? And then underneath it says, he's been hailed the sex god of CBeebies and sparked hundreds of Mumsnet posts about doing dirty things with Bloom. And we're not talking Orlando. To preschoolers, Mr. Bloom is a cheery gardener who wears a woolly, I've got to be careful how I say this, wears a woolly tank top, dances in his wellies and chats to knitted vegetables in his garden nursery. To mums, he's the man who makes their minds meander to potting shed scenarios
he's not.
that are most unsuitable for children.
No.
So fevered are his female fans that questions had to be strictly censored when Ben Fawkes, oh, hang on, so Bloom's not his real name?
No, and he's not even northern. He's
Agreed
posh.
to do a live web chat with Mumsnet.
Wow. No.
The BBC was also forced to delete a number of lewd posts from its CBeebies Facebook site when it was bombarded with saucy messages about the character. One mum said of Mr. Bloom's nursery star, he could feel my melons to see if they're firm.
Gosh, subtle.
Another declared, I wouldn't mind giving him a hand with his sprouts and parsnip. It doesn't really work. Sprouts, testicles, parsnip, penis, yeah?
I'm imagining so, yes.
There were lots of posts dwelling on bush trimming.
Whoa!
Lady gardens.
Whoa!
Planting seeds.
Girls!
And wielding large cucumbers.
Turn it in.
So, has Ben, 37, had to field off advances from mums who view him as Lady Chatterley's lover rather than a kids' TV star? He says, well, there have been letters. Yes, rather fruity letters. That's not a bad impression.
No.
And Valentine's cards. Maybe a few marriage proposals. One lady knitted me a lovely turnip, which I've still got. It's not just love. We've nearly finished, and there's so much more of this story. It's not just love, it's X-rated lust. Ben seems keen to water down the fact his adult viewers have very fertile imaginations. But how would he have coped if put on the spot by one mum who wanted to ask Mr. Bloom, marrow, courgette, or buttered mushroom?
Sweet Lord.
Ben has a mild coughing fit. Yes, I see that questions must have got vetted pretty severely. Another mum begged him to give a special wink, that's wink, at the start of the show, just for all the women at home fanning themselves.
What?
At the first few bars of his Meet the Veggies theme tune.
Fanning themselves?
Meet the Veggies! Oh, dude. Right, that's it.
Mr. Bloom.
Oh, man alive. That's it. That's your lot. Cass on at the weekend. We're back on Monday at 10. Ta-ta.
Talk Radio.
Join the Talk Nation.
Pick up your phone and talk radio.
We'll get you talking.